The NDC has no part to play. Alright, so
many are called, few are chosen. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Gotta fight the right fight in this time, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Are you ready to stand up and fight the right revolution? Are you ready to stand up and fight it just like soldiers? Many are called, few are chosen. Many are called, few are chosen. If you wanna live forever, you gotta love each other. Say you gotta live on forever, yeah. And love one another. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Gotta fight the right fight in this time. Oh, boy. Oh, yeah. Living and loving and sharing and caring for your people. Oh, yeah. A man is made according to his work, yeah. Oh, yeah. Say we gotta live on forever. Love each other. We gotta live on forever. And love one another. Oh, yeah. Living and loving and sharing, yeah. Oh, yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
issue relating to Mud Flats, Kingston, the wharf that was continuous criticism of the PPP and their economic plans, and the continuous boring of holes in their economic plans by Winston Jordan has certainly put the PPP on a mission to silence him. And so when you see these things are popping up, last week sometime yes, Anil Nandlal did say that you're going to drag him before the court for something which I can't remember. I don't pay too much attention to those things. But the reality is the PPP has been making efforts recently to silence Jordan, either by way of intimidation or fishing, hoping that they would find something to lock him up for. Right? And so I want to inform you of that as we talk. He's required to be at Soku for 9 o'clock. Yesterday I went to court. We went to court yesterday. Ghana is a place, this is a whole drama. That's all I can say. We went to court yesterday. Those of us who were charged in August for protesting As a matter of fact, as they said, they charged us for illegal possession, right? So we were before the courts yesterday. Again, that would have been the third appearance, I think. What happened yesterday was interesting. Of course, Darren Wade is representing us. And so, when court was called, Darren was still trying to get the Zoom login information because he was appearing virtually. And so, as it would appear, strangely enough, one of the defendants was called. Normally, when they call the case, they call all of us together, because it's the same charge, it's the same event according to them. Anyways, one of us was calling. Shortly after, he came out back with a young lawyer. Forgot the guy's name. But the lawyer basically made a pro bono appearance to him following what went on in the court. In short, what went on in the court is that the magistrate suggested to him that if we were to plead guilty to the charge, because he wants to dispose of these matters expeditiously, if we were to plead guilty to the charge, then there's a range of fines which anyone could be charged on us. And at that point, I understand the young lawyer got up based on the response of the defendant and said, this man is without counsel, permit me to counsel him, and so on. And the guy came out and he explained to us, well, this is the offer on the table. You can be charged as little as 5,000 or less than 5,000. You can be reprimanded and discharged. You can be placed on bond. These are all options the magistrate has. But so long as you plead guilty, you would have an offense against your name, right? In other words, you would have committed a crime. So, as I would say, you would have become a criminal. As long as you plead guilty, you are now a criminal there's a record against you, a criminal record. You broke the law. I be amazed you. I said, no. I am not pleading guilty because I'm not guilty. And I know we are not guilty, but I can't talk for everybody else. Everybody will make their own decision. But I am not pleading guilty. Let the police prove their case. Everybody, as we like saying, can hold the same head. We ain't pleading guilty. Darren got into the Zoom. Case was called again. Same offer was made in the presence of Darren. His response simply was, I'm instructed that these people were not part of any procession, and so I'm not going to take up the offer. Let us hear the statements of the police. Lo and behold, the prosecutor got up and said, well, Your Honor, Your Worship, these files were among the files destroyed by the Brick Dam fire. And we are now making efforts to reconstruct the files. Right? Magistrate said, oh, so you have until January 10th to reconstruct the files, and so that we can move ahead. If on that date the files are not, or when we come back on that date, the lawyer, counsel, will decide how to move ahead. Well, Darren indicated that since these charges were there since August, if they're not ready to proceed on the 10th, then we should be moving for a dismissal. I am giving you this narration because I want us to recognize some things. First and foremost, It's good to stand your ground. Stand your ground. Yeah. For as long as you're right, stand your ground. I always say stand up for something. Stand up for something. Or you're going to lie down and take anything. Anybody who would agree to that offer yesterday would have been railroaded. In that they would have had, they would have paid a fine no matter how little, or be reprimanded or whatever, but they would have now had a criminal matter recorded against their names without the police providing any evidence that that individual was guilty as charged, or that the charge was fair and just. That person would have paid their fine and have the matter recorded against them, a strike against them, let me call it that. And the prosecutor would have sat there and not indicated that they do not have any file nor evidence to present. But they would have had the victory that they seek. And so I'm very happy, and it's a teachable moment. It's a teachable moment. Don't let people railroad you. Anybody, if we had agreed to accept, oh, the fine is minimal, and that is what a lot of people get caught with. It's not enough. It ain't gonna hurt me pocket bad. Let me accept it. Because if we go to trial and they find us guilty, right? Then they might say we waste the court's time and they want to charge we, they're going to find we heavier or give us a heavier penalty. Don't take setup, folks. Right? Don't take setup. Stand for what you believe in. And so that was yesterday's lesson for me. That was yesterday's lesson for me. Rhonda is asking if she can have Friday today. Well, yes, you can technically say yes, you're having Friday today. Don't worry yourself. Because we are likely to work with Mr. Jordan if he's available tomorrow. You know, I don't like us missing our sessions. And so once Mr. Jordan is available tomorrow, then we're going to have him on. Right? We're going to have him on tomorrow if he's available. Right, so I'm continuing to talk with you. Now, I did indicate that I wanted to address what's happening in Buxton at the bar ground. I was hoping that I would have, the Party representative would have come, we would have done the interview, and then I would have addressed the Buxton issue. Because yesterday, everybody kept flooding my inbox with this and that and the other about, I think about 3 or 4 videos of Buxtonians praising the PPP and more directly praising Charles Ramsden Jr. I have no problem with who wants to praise who. I have no problem with who wants to say lend their support to who and stuff like that. But your arguments must be based on facts. Keep that one in mind. Your arguments must be based on facts. And I'm not certain that up to now, all that we're hearing from these people are based on facts.
Good morning.
Good morning, Keishel. Is that your name? Good morning to you.
Good morning, Dr. Hines.
I'm not Dr. Hines. I'm using Dr. Hines' account. This is
Oh,
Kilaki.
okay.
I mean, you can't be so disrespectful. I'm cuter than Dr. Hines.
I can't see your photo. I don't know why.
I know. It has my photo. I know. We use the same account for Zoom.
Okay.
Yes,
Good morning.
So how are you doing today?
I am doing great.
That's nice to know. All right. So you're Keishal, are you?
Yes, I'm Keishal Jennings. I am the Public Relations Officer for the International Decade for People of African Descent Assembly, Guyana.
Good. Congratulations on your high-profile job. We need to see more of you. We need to see more of Ipadaji. And I'm not knocking you, right? I think a lot of people have been asking about Ipadaji and what they're about and what they're doing and so on.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't think this morning's program is really to talk a whole lot about Ipadaji in the whole picture, right?
Yeah.
But we're talking about that specific event which comes up tomorrow. And so I'll give you the opportunity to share with our viewers what event we're talking about. I know they would have seen the flyer and so on because I had it circulating on the webpage and so on. But tell us, what is planned for tomorrow?
Okay, good morning, everyone. And tomorrow I'm inviting you all down to Ipadaji's one-day sale and exhibition under the title of Ujamaa. And this exhibition and sale would be in support of African Guyanese businesses, over 38 of them all across Guyana, at the Coffee Square, or what we know, the Square of the Revolution, Georgetown. This is an opportunity that you can't afford to miss. Ipadaji's mandate is the recognition, justice, and development for people of African descent. And this is one of the ways we are promoting that in terms of creating a platform for businesses to thrive, especially African Guyanese businesses to thrive during this Christmas season. We want to change the mandate. I know we want a lot of gifts from overseas and we want our family to send in things, but I'm encouraging you to support local and to support African Guyanese businesses. So it's going to be tomorrow starting at 8 a.m. And persons might be wondering, what is Ujamaa? Why that name? It sounds so fancy. Well, Ujamaa is the Swahili word meaning cooperative economics. And it's the fourth principle of Kwanzaa. And it's really a principle that encourages us to, as people of African descent, to support each other, to support our businesses, and to share in work and wealth. So that's what's going to be happening tomorrow, Friday, December the 3rd, at the Coffee Square, or the Square of the Revolution, Georgetown. You're passing by, please stop in, come in and shop. 38 vendors from across Guyana that will be selling art, crafts, home decor, agro-processed self-care items, agro-processing food items. There's going to be so much more. We're going to have drummings. All COVID-19 guidelines will be in effect. So we just encourage you. It's an open space to master. There will be sanitization present, so you can sanitize your hands and just come shop and support African Guyanese businesses.
And what are some of the things that you're going to have on sale, may I ask?
So we're focusing, so in the inception, it was supposed to be a soft furnishing exhibition. So there's going to be a lot of home decor. I know it's coming out of Christmas, persons are spending, they want a little vase, they want something to put in their home. And I think it's about time we stray away a little bit from the Chinese made stuff and really support our local Guyanese creation, our local creations. So there's going to be a lot of home decor there, arts and craft. There's going to be some food items, cook-ups. They've specially made African Guyanese cuisine. We have persons there selling their art and crafts. So we know we are very artistic. We're super, super talented people. Imagine, having some really creative pieces that will add a unique aesthetic to your house and your home this Christmas. So we're really supporting that. A lot of art and craft, a lot of home decor, especially for this Christmas season. We have self-care items, home processed food. You can get your seasonings, for the meats. We know Christmas is coming up, and yeah, this is definitely the place to get it.
What about the vendors, the participants? Can you name some of them? Do you have any? Can you share any information with
There's
us
going to
about?
be a lot of us to do. We have eccentric creations. These are persons who are specialized in creating special African jewelry and accessories. So this is also an opportunity for you to come and get your creative expression pieces in African prints, eccentric creations. We're going to have a team from the Mocha Arcadia Market Day, about 10 vendors from Mocha Arcadia. And if you've been following the Mocha Arcadia co-op group, you will be knowing that the Mocha Arcadia brings out a wonderful market day almost every month. They stopped a little bit due to the flooding, but the Mocha Arcadia Day vendors will also be out there. So if you've been always wanting to go to Mocha Arcadia to support the market day, this is your opportunity. There'll be vendors from there as well.
Thank you. And there's an inquiry about whether or not there will be what they call household furnishings. Anybody's living room furniture will be there?
Well, maybe not as large as the living room furniture, but you can get your cushions, your duvets, your blinds. We're having some creative pieces coming out tomorrow. We and a lot of African prints, a lot of locally made materials from locally made materials. So yes. Don't quote me on the large furniture. There will be creative pieces.
Okay, sure, no problem. Tell me, Keishel, Ms. Jennings, this is a large number. There are a large number of exhibitors vendors who will be at the event.
Yeah.
They work. Was there any partnering with Ipadaji to produce these items, or these are people who have been working on their own?
These are persons who have been working on their own, and these are persons that have worked with Ipadaji on various projects. Now, we have persons from our youth conference. We had an investor-thon and pitch competition. We have persons from our virtual business expo. And due to COVID, most of these programs were virtual. And this is our opportunity to showcase these businesses on a more physical platform so they can earn some cold, hard cash, as they will call it. So this is an opportunity. So we've also featured a lot of these businesses on our Facebook page, on our Feature Friday publication. Now is an opportunity for you to see, okay, these are the products in real life and real time. It was an open call. These vendors have been doing their thing. We are just creating the platform.
Great. So make that pitch once more. Let's make that pitch once more so that
Yes. So be
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Remember to come out tomorrow, December the 3rd. We're starting from 8 a.m. and we're going right until all the goods have sold out. Come on, guys. We're not only talking the talk about supporting people of African descent. We're going to walk the walk. We're going to come out and we're going to support and buy our goods at Christmas. We support everyone else. It's time to support our own. Tomorrow, 8 a.m. at the Coffee Square. That's the Square of the Revolution. Starting from 8 a.m. Let's support local and come out. Even if you're not buying, we still encourage you to come out. Tell a friend, girl, come on, let's go. Let's see what we can put in our house this Christmas that is locally made and made by people of African descent.
Thank you very much, Ms. Jennings. I do wish you every success, and you never know. Maybe KAMSTV will turn up tomorrow and do a live.
Yes, we are inviting you. Come on down, bring the team, start up a live, and I owe you that interview to talk specifically about the International Decade for People of African Descent.
Yes, thank you very much. Do have a great day. I wish you good success, as they say, and we'll stay in touch to see what's happening over there at Coffee Square tomorrow. The time you said is what time?
Starting time 8 a.m. and we're going right until the goods are finished. So you don't mind, we're going to come out from work early. You can come out during your lunchtime. We're taking no excuses tomorrow. You need to be there.
Sure. Have a great day. Stay safe.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, and so we have Ms. Jennings here telling us about tomorrow's event. And so I'm encouraging you, like we say, boycott, boycott, boycott. So I'm sure you can find some of those decor you're looking for at the Square of the Revolution tomorrow. So go down there, and the prices might very well be as good as or even more competitive
Better,
than you would
yes.
pay at other places. So that's my
Great.
encouragement. Like I said, KAMSTV will try to make it down there, and so that you people get to view the actions. Those of you who are overseas and can't make it here. Question. Well, it might be late to ask this, but is there a possibility that persons who are overseas can actually order stuff from the vendors here?
So the possibility of ordering is there. For example, since you're coming tomorrow, you'll be able to take videos, and we have all the contact information for the vendors, and we'll be able to assist them in terms of understanding how the process works in terms of getting products overseas. So we have a contact list. So for example, somebody sees something they like, they can message you, and we'll be like, okay, this is the person you can reach out to.
Great. Thank you once again, and be safe. Remember to sanitize, wash, wear your mask, and you said all the COVID regulations will be in place,
Yes.
which means we're going to expect to see the necessary 6 feet apart and so on. Have a
Yes,
great
and
day,
then
sis. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. Bye.
Bye now.
Thank you.
And so, yes, there you have it. Please ensure you go down and support the venture. Support your own David. I say buy what is absolutely necessary. Absolutely necessary. It means that if you can't get it no place, if you can't get it from your own people, and you desperately need it, only then you must spend your money on Regent Street. But here it is, an opportunity is provided. A lot of people have been asking or like to ask, what is the alternative? You're all saying boycott, boycott, boycott. Boycott, boycott, boycott. Note I'm saying boycott. B-U-I. Right? But many persons have been asking, when we boycott or we boycott the regulars, what are we replacing with? Well, here you have an alternative. You have an alternative. Good? I wear a lot of quote-unquote African prints, a lot of dashiki and so on. And one of the things I marvel at, you have people who do tie-dye locally. Beautiful tie-dye. They got all kinds of names and descriptions to them. I don't know. I see a pattern, I like it. But, so don't ask me about the name and so on. Names and so on. But beautiful tie-dye. But yet people are going to merchants around Georgetown, or the Chinese stores, as we like to say, and buy quote-unquote African prints made in China, printed in China, right? I can't tell you why I detest it. You have the opportunity. Go down to Square of the Revolution and do your thing there. Now back to this issue I started mentioning. So everybody in my inbox right? Everybody in my inbox about what is great about the PPP and what is great about, my God, and what the PPP has done for Buxton. One of the frightening things, though, is that a lot of people speak and they do not know of what they speak. They have no sense of history. When they speak, they lack a clear understanding of what they speak about. And so I'm going to start by making a disclaimer. And it's important that I make the disclaimer because there are a lot of people who believe that when I identify issues, especially related to Buxton, that I'm getting personal. And I want to create problems among relatives and friends and families and so on. Let me make this clear. When I speak about issues in Buxton on KAMSTV, I speak about them because they are issues important, extremely important, to Buxton as a community and black people as a whole. Many of us look at things from an individualistic position. My friend and colleague, may her soul rest in peace, Namila Baines Henry Rowe, used to say, "What is in it for me?" That is the angle from which a lot of people look at things. What is in it for me? As an individual, what benefits will come to me from this particular event or act? That's what a lot of people do. Many of us don't take the time to extend our view from what is in it for me. And in most instances, when we're talking about what is in it for me, we look at our individual selves first, our family second, and perhaps friend third. In some instances, it can be ourselves, friend, and then family, dependent on the mindset of the individual. Right? They don't take the time to extend their vision to community. How does this benefit the community? Or how does this put the community at a disadvantage? It is always what is in it for me. Once I can benefit, or my family and friends can benefit, I'm fine with what is happening. Right? And so that is the problem we have in this community. That is the problem we have in communities across this country. And that is the problem we have among black people. Don't tell me it exists among the other people, because I am looking after black people. I'm so concerned about black people. If you can, the Bible says, and I'm quoting the Bible because a lot of us use that as our mantra, love thy neighbor as you love yourself. Now, if you have no self-love, then you ain't got no love for no neighbor. Right? And so when I'm saying black people, it is out of love for myself, ourselves. And only until I can establish that love for ourselves, then I can talk about loving other people. Charity begins at home. That's what they say. Right? So let's address this issue. Let's address this issue. There are a number of videos which I'll start with. This is the first one.
Next to the minister, he told me that he's going to do some work and he talked about it, and he is a man of his word, as Mr. Lavin said. To be honest, the first time I met with the minister, he told me that he's going to do some work and he talked about it, and he is a man of his word, as Mr. Lavin said. And I have seen the minister and the president doing a lot of work throughout the country, not only Buxton. I'm very happy with what the president and his minister are doing for this country. We need to let bygones be bygones and move forward. I'm begging and pleading that you help me with this. You are very happy.
They say when nice play twice.
To be honest, the first time I met with the minister, he told me that he's going to do some work and he talked about it, and he is a man of his word, as Mr. Lavin said. And I have seen the minister and the president doing a lot of work throughout the country, not only Buxton. I'm very happy with what the president and his minister are doing for this country. We need to let bygones be bygones and move forward. I'm begging and pleading that you help me with this. You are very happy.
I'm begging and pleading.
To be honest.
Right? Citizens have to beg and plead to have their lives improved, their communities improved. That's one video. Let us continue to beg and plead. And eventually we are going to get right where the ancestors refused to stay. But here's another video. All of these videos are coming from a site, the person Live in Guyana or Live in Guyana. Right? Let's view them.
Man, oh Jesus, nice time. What we grow. What we rode. What all over, buddy. Nice time.
Boxers, huh?
What, go for Buxton? 0. They forget Buxton.
What am I saying on?
You know that.
What PPP do? What PPP do?
Man, oh Jesus, nice time. What we grow. What we rode. What all over, buddy. Nice time.
Boxers, huh?
What, go for Buxton? 0. They forget Buxton. I respect the Minister of Sports for the thing them that he have done and the thing them what he's still doing. You understand? I respect the Minister of Sports 1,000 because he come and he promise and he deliver. He ain't take a year, he ain't take 6 months, he ain't take 3 months. He delivered but a month or less. And this good. 5 years. The opposition they in power. Is there no politician? But 5 years them they in power. And Buxton Grove broke up. You understand? Deteriorating, all have stand, fence everything, light everything mashing up. And there's them strong old place and them ain't do nothing. And a man come now and want do. Now what you gotta do? If the people ever went to power before and it's your people as your claim, and them ain't do nothing for the village, what you want I do? Be ignorant and left everything for just mash up because ignorance? This thing don't go like that. I gotta walk along with whoever then, as long as them doing what you want them do, I gotta walk along. I is not no politician. I standing up for Buxton community. I standing up for the village. But you don't know have to big up the minister because he have done excellent so far. You understand? I must congratulate him in the works that he is doing. You understand? Who don't like it? Well, what you could do? You keep it to yourself though.
Those are the videos which came to me via an inbox message. Like I said, it says Live in Guyana or Live in Guyana.
What am I saying on?
Right?
You know that.
I will now show you some videos of what the Buxton ground is like right now. Previously, I had shown you images of what was being done at the Buxton ground at the time. I think they said when these videos were made praising Ramps and so on, the southern fence was being fixed to a value of $3 million. I encourage folks to find out who the contractor was at the time. I don't know if anybody, as I would say, took the bait. I don't know if anybody found out who the contractor was at the time. And I don't know what they found out about that particular contract. But what I can say to you is that I did mention is that the works which were done and valued at $3 million, in my mind and in the mind of many Buxtonian residents, was not commensurate with the cost. The quality was poor, etc., etc. I also had shown to you an image of the front of the ground with zinc. Can you remember the front of the ground with zinc? Well, this is what Buxton ground looks like now. This is the front of Buxton ground. A 5-foot high chain link fence on metal frame. Now, if you look at that front there with the chain link fencing and you compare it to the sides, which you're seeing in the background, you will recognize the difference. The entire Buxton ground, listen, I'm so damn pissed that I'm getting emotional over this issue. The entire Buxton ground was fenced with zinc, galvalume zinc sheets as we call it, or galvanized sheets. The entire Buxton ground was fenced with that. The front was fenced with it. If you're saying, which is a fact, that the timber structure had become weakened and needed maintenance, I can agree. The timber structure had become weakened and needed maintenance, not replacement. Renovation. There can be no justification to remove that zinc fence from the front of Buxton ground and replace it with this damn nonsense. This is robbery. This is robbery. The number of zinc sheets that were removed from the front of Buxton ground to be replaced with a 5-foot chain link fence is robbery. And it is robbery because, to start with, those zinc sheets are now in the hands of the contractors and their cronies. Those zinc sheets from the inception did not come from government coffers. Those zinc sheets came as a result of Buxtonian efforts, private individuals' efforts to fundraise and build that fence in the first place. And so now, a contractor who is a known friend of Kashif and Shanghai, who are known friends of the PPP, have taken down the entire zinc fence with the agreement of folks like these who are singing the praises of the PPP, and left us with a chain link fence. Now they say where ignorance is bliss is folly to be wise. Where ignorance is bliss is folly to be wise. Because what they see as an improvement for me and others who are wise, it is a retrograde step. It is a retrograde step. It is daylight robbery, and these clowns cannot recognize it for what it is, because all they're concerned about is what is in it for me. What is in it for me? What is in it for me? But let me tell you what is in it for them. I understand that the caretaker of the ground right now is a man. The man will say, APN, you did nothing for Buxton and PPP give them nice time and ground. Yes, they get nice time and they get ground. They get nice time because that individual in particular has always been interested in nice time. For as long as I know him, he has been Odenga Lumumba's lackey. For as long as I know him. He has always been in bed with Odinga Lubumba. His Odinga Lubumba boy, he was the caretaker of Odinga Lubumba's mother's residence. In fact, he is still the caretaker. She is deceased and he is the caretaker. And so he's getting nice time off of the backs of people because he is now also the caretaker for the Buxton ground. What is in it for me? The Buxton Falls NDC. I want you all to take, I want you all to take a walk. Take a walk and go across to Enmore. Go to Enterprise. Go to Lusignan right next door and find out how the community center ground is managed. Find out how the community ground is managed. Right? And when you find out how the community ground is managed, you will find out that the management of the community ground, here's another angle, is not in the hands of private individuals and PPP lackeys, it is in the hands of the Neighborhood Democratic Council. They usually are supposed to have different communities, like a ground community committee and a youth and culture committee and so on. And so the management of those grounds in the Indian areas are in the hands of the NDC. So the NDC can charge fees and use those very fees to maintain and improve the grounds. But in Buxton, the management of the Buxton ground is in the hands of private individuals associated with the PPP. The NDC has no part to play. So what is in it for me? Nice time. But what is in it for the community? What is in it for the community? What we have here, is robbery, is disrespect, but some people can't see it. So let me explain it. When Buxton ground was fully fenced in zinc sheets, if you wanted to host a paid event, you had no issue. As a matter of fact, several high-profile events were hosted at Buxton, including international concerts. Ask Father Moe and the East Coast Mash Committee, as they call themselves. How many international artists they have brought to Buxton ground with international stage and lighting and made a killing in terms of money? Ask them that. Which local fundraising event can take place at this ground in its current state? The fence I'm talking about. I don't even care about anything else because we could deal with that later. Let's look at the fence. Which promoter, which right-thinking promoter is going to rent the Buxton ground with this kind of fencing for an event? We used to have a big football or several football tournaments coming down to the end of the year right at Buxton ground. If I'm not lying, I think one of the games used to be on Christmas Day. Perhaps another one on New Year's Day. And people used to pay to go into the ground. Do I have to pay to go into this ground now to see football match when the fence is as transparent as it is? I wish the government was this transparent. And so they don't understand that. What Charles Ramsey and his cronies have just done is remove the possibility for income generation from this ground in Buxton. Not only for individual promoters, but for Buxtonians as a whole, especially those who would normally ply their trade there. Many people will tell you that when they got football and other events there, they're going to pay for a spot in the ground, or they do their vending outside of the ground. And in one night or one event, the amount they will be able to sell, the income they will generate, in many instances far outweigh that which they might have generated for a week, a month on ordinary business days. But that is now being removed because there is no fence that will permit the hosting of those kind of events there anymore. But people can't see that. They see that they beg. I'm begging you, Mr. Minister, Mr. President, I'm begging you. They see that they beg the president to do what any government is supposed to do. Maintain roads in their community. Maintain public infrastructure in their community. They see that they beg a government to use the taxpayers' money to do what the government was in the first place supposed to do with the taxpayers' money. And so they see it done. And they believe that their begging has borne fruits. Well, I dare say that their outlook are forcing us to be beggars further down the road. Right? That's what we have to recognize. Look at the fence at Buxton Gong. Where are the zinc sheets? Mr. Minister, Mr. Batty Lion, Mr. Ramson, call the contractor, ask him where are the zinc sheets that were removed from the Buxton ground. Ask him, justify for us why it is we now have a metal frame with 5 foot of chain link fencing hanging on it, when the entire front there was fenced in zinc, and there was not a single zinc sheet missing from the front of that gong. I can guarantee you that. Not a single zinc sheet was missing. The fence might have been dilapidated in some sections, because, like I said, the timber structure needed maintenance. But instead of providing the means to maintain the timber structure, they removed the timber structure along with the zinc sheet, because the cost of the zinc sheet alone might very well far exceed the cost of building that fence, which I understand is valued at millions of dollars, multi-million dollars contract. So let's understand that this fancy gong upgrade that y'all got has taken money out of the hands and pockets of Buxtonians. The people who invested in the zinc fence that ground over the years have been robbed of their investment. The people who look forward to earning because of the state of enclosure of the ground can no longer earn. Keep that in mind. You're talking about an upgrade. If you talk about an upgrade, you should have been moving from zinc to concrete. You should have been moving from zinc to concrete. And so you would have had a fence that would have required less maintenance. And let me tell you about the idiocy. Again, I'm repeating, where ignorance is bliss is folly to be wise. Because here, let's talk about the idiocy. Buxton ground is located flush to the front of the seawall. You hear me there? Seawall! Seawall! Buxton ground there, seawall! It's at the foreshore. And so the salt air, in case you don't know, will quickly destroy the metal members of that fence. It will be corroded. It will be corroded. And so in short order, we're just going to end up without a proper fence. We ain't got no proper fence. But if that which they claim is an upgrade, is soon going to go into disrepair because the salt air will corrode it. But we sing in the praises. Ramsey is a man of his word. The PPP government has done a lot. They upgraded our ground. Well, if that is an upgrade, I hate to see what is a downgrade. I hate very much to see what is a downgrade. I am not a politician. I'm not a politician. I'm a political activist. And most importantly, I'm a community activist. I live and breathe for Buxton. Buxtonians don't know it. Buxtonians don't know it. A lot of Buxtonians don't accept it. A lot of Buxtonians believe that Kidaki is about Kidaki. But I live and breathe for Buxton because I put my shoulders to the wheel to bring education and development in Buxton. But there will always be the naysayers. And many, David Hines said it early in this morning's primer, that many people do not speak up because of fear in this country. But I'm not going to let fear shut me up. I ain't fear no man. A man can plot and do what he wants for perhaps as long as he wants, but not against the will of the Creator. And so I fear nobody. And fear won't shut me up. I spoke last weekend with one of the quote-unquote stakeholders. Stakeholders of that ground. And when I say stakeholders, I'm talking about someone who has reason to use that ground to do positive things for the youngsters of the Buxtonian community. I spoke to one of the coaches who have been using that ground for years, coaching youngsters to play football, etc., cricket, football, and so on. And what was said to me basically is sickening, because even that individual is afraid to make representation. That individual is afraid to associate or let their name be associated with a cry of shame for what has been done to the Buxton ground. They know the beneficial use. They know the loss which have come to this community financially and otherwise because of this nonsense which we are seeing. This so-called upgrade to the Buxton ground. But they're not bold nor brave enough to step out and decry it. They won't talk openly about it because they too live in fear. And somebody got bail the cat. We cannot continue to sit back and allow fear to rob us of our resources. Charles Ramsey and the contractor associated with Kashif and Shanghai, and those who are singing their praises, must say to the Buxton people, where the fence there? Where's the justification for removing the people's zinc fence? Carting off the zinc sheets and replacing it with metal and chain link fencing, which leaves the ground literally open. You can't host any events there if you intend to host for financial gains. And if you have a community ground that doesn't serve that purpose, then you just have a recreational space, which in itself will fall into disrepair because it will not be providing resources to maintain itself. And I'm repeating, that fence is soon going to be in disrepair because the salt here is going to corrode it. You're going to rotten them out, as we like to see. You think that is all that has happened at that ground? You see that white structure in the background? That's a toilet facilities. I never use big word. That's a toilet facilities. Right? I got some images that I will share with you. The toilet facility. Let me start by telling, well, let me share this one, yes. Let me share this one to start with, so you can see it. You see that facility there? It was always there. At least it was there when the PPP came into office. Let's establish that. Right? It was there when the PPP came into office. It may not have looked like that in terms of being freshly painted, but it was there with that same structure. It was painted, so it needed a facelift perhaps because after time, you know, paint fade away. What's that structure? That structure hosts a male and a female washroom. Originally, the male washroom had 5 or 6 urinals. You know those things you put on the wall, right? Let me show you what I'm talking about. 5 or 6 urinals. That is what it had originally. 5 or 6 of them. But came the upgrade. This is what I'm talking about. This bowler, that's a urinal. They had 5 or 6 of them located around the wall. Upgrade, note I'm saying upgrade to this toilet facility, according to information received, cost $5 million. Y'all hear what I say? The upgrade to this facility cost $5 million. In the male now, instead of 5 of those urinals, you have 3. 3 of them now. So they have decreased in number. Right? They have decreased in number. What else was done? The old tiles had to be removed and new tiles replaced. The old tiles were removed and replaced by new tiles. These are the new tiles you're seeing there. Those are the new tiles. So the entire facility, they had to replace the old tiles with new ones. They had to fix the plumbing because there were some plumbing issues. Change out pipes and ensure free water flow and so on. And they had to paint the structure. The bill for that is $5 million. The bill for that is $5 million. Again, prove me wrong. I challenge anybody, especially those who are here singing the praises of the PPP. Prasad, and so on. I challenge any of you to go to the Buxton Falls NDC and ask for the bill of quantities for these works. And the Buxton Falls NDC will tell you they didn't even know that works took place at the Buxton ground. Because Ramsing and his cabal and his lackeys have bypassed the Buxton Falls NDC, which ordinarily should have responsibility and control of that facility. And perhaps single source their contractors who are friends of the PPP so that they can get $5 million for work. Listen, if that is $5 million work renovation, I should not be able to build a home in this country. Y'all know what I'm saying? I should not be able to build a home in this country. If that upgrading of the toilet facility costs $5 million, none of us should be able to build homes in this country. Certainly we shouldn't be able to tile any part of our homes. But the PPP has done well. For Buxton. And Buxtonians are singing those praises. According to the young man, he is representing Buxton. Right? And so I must take him at his word. He's representing Buxton. And so the representative or representatives of Buxton said that the PPP has done great things for Buxton. Randy Shepard asked the question, how can you condemn development? Well, an ass is an ass by any name you call it, Randy, and you are definitely an ass. Because I've just made my case for why this is not development. Is it development if you have your yard enclosed with fence to ensure your privacy and safety? Zinc fence. Is it development for you to remove it? A 10-foot or 15-foot high fence from around your premises. Is it development to remove it and replace it with a 5-foot fence? Randy? Idiot? Shepherd? Tell me. Where's the development if you remove a 10-foot fence from around your premises and replace it with a 5-foot fence? You remove zinc and replace it with chain link. Tell me, Randy, where's the development? Awaiting. Let's have this conversation. Where's the development? Where's the development if you remove, you had a urinal with 5 facilities inside, and you remove 2 of them, and it's now left with 3. Where's the development? Tell me, Randy, I'm waiting. Tell me how developmental it is when a facility that could have hosted international events because of its enclosure is now an open sepulchre and have lost that attraction to promoters of international events. Tell me. What y'all don't understand is, you ask, people will give you. I like to quote something a senior villager said to me years ago. I have never forgotten it. I can walk with you to the finish line and watch you fail. And that is what is happening in Buxton. I can walk with you to the finish line and watch you fail. The PPP is not saying to their lackeys in Buxton, no. I will give you because you ask. But I will give you to say that I gave you and you failed nevertheless. You ask. And so because you're my friend, I will give you. Or because you consider me your friend, I will give you. But I will give you to ensure you do not achieve anything with what I give you. And so I will watch you fail. And so you want me to fix the Buxton fence? I will fix the fence. But I will remove what you had in place to ensure you earn money from. And give you something that maybe in your eyes is more glamorous, but will not ensure that you earn. They say all that glitters is not gold. You got a bright red fence. Oh shoot, they call it red. You got a bright red metal fence there. But that's all you have. A bright red metal fence with no or a very much reduced possibility of earning from that ground. Where is the development? Some of us can't see that. Take a walk to LBI ground. LBI ground is fenced from corner to corner in zinc. Take a walk to Enmore ground. Enmore ground is fenced from corner to corner with zinc. And I can go across this country and identify Indian communities, PPP supportive communities, where their gongs are fenced with zinc. Because once they're fenced with zinc, they provide opportunities. Do you know international cricket used to be hosted, at least practice matches, at Enterprise Ground, I think, or certainly at Moore Ground? Yes. Do you know that? A lot of y'all young, y'all didn't know that. But why do you think international practice matches could have been held at Enmore Ground? Because it has always been fenced in zinc. As a matter of fact, if you go to Haslington right now, Haslington ground is fenced with zinc. Golden Grove ground is fenced with zinc. Why Buxton ground suddenly get chain link fencing? And you all call it development. Can't you see what people are doing to you fools? Can't you see what people are doing to us? We singing praises. The Superman come the other day with 4 or 6 concrete posts, say he donating them to the Buxton ground, and they're going to be putting on, what, 1,000-watt lights or something on them. Go to LBI ground, and you will see that there are at least a half a dozen more like a dozen of those concrete posts, and each of them has at least 2 layers of lights, 2 rows of lights that will make night look like day. But you are getting development. What are we talking about really? Who don't know? Who don't know? Who can sit and analyze will know. I hear a lot of old heads, people who've been in sports and community development and so on, are on this bandwagon singing praises. And I dare say, some people dream of great things in their old age. And as old age is fast approaching and they are not seeing their greatness, they have decided to join a bandwagon of soup drinkers at the expense of this community. At the expense of the community. And I have no apologies for saying it. There's some people who I once had respect for. Because I thought they had some common sense at least. I know they're not big and intellectual. Everybody can be intellectual. But suddenly as old age approached, they're losing their medi. Because the soup is warm or it's steaming and it's attractive. So they're watching harm being done to the community and the community facilities and singing praises. I wish y'all luck. I'll ease off of this matter right now, but let me tell you all a story. The hard court, or basketball court as we call it, that is in that ground, was constructed under the Youth Choice projects, Youth Choice Initiative projects. I was the clerk of work. The work was done by 2 PPP contractors. We used to call them Burnham and Jagan. They live right over at Annandale. The Ahmad brothers. The Ahmad brothers. I was the clerk of work. And the mix, as I remember, well, hopefully I remember, was 3-2-1. 3-2-1. And in that ratio, 3 being the bigger aggregate, I think. So it's 3 stones to 2 sand to 1 cement. That was the mix according to the project document, if I remember. Don't hold me at ransom for it. But there was this requirement for a high amount of stone in the mix to ensure the quality of the concrete which formed the hard coat, so it could be long lasting and will not crack and so on. And the contractors at the time thought it was too expensive to put so much stone in the mix, despite the fact that they had bid and won the bid. Well, assuming they won the bid, despite the fact the job was awarded to them at that price with that requirement. They wanted to cheat it. And they approached me with a proposition that the stones were too much, the stones were too many, the amount of stone was too much to go into the mix, and they wanted to reduce it. But to reduce it, they had to get my consent. And my consent in their minds would have come at a cost, what we call a bribe. And my position was simply put, it ain't gonna happen. Why did I say it ain't gonna happen? Because I can see to the future. I was just in my 20s then, I think. This is why it ain't gonna happen. Because I'm a parent, or I will be a parent. And if one of my children were to run on that hard court, and because of inferior construction broke the hip, is me expense and me problems to the rest of their life. And by extension, if any villager were to be injured on it because of poor construction, poor quality work, I had to live with that for the rest of my life. And so it couldn't happen. I wasn't thinking about what is in it for me. Or maybe I was thinking about what is in it for me. What is in it for my community. I wasn't thinking about what is in it for me in terms of how it will benefit me financially if I accepted the proposition of a bribe. And if you all think of telling Nancy's story, the PPP like put your nasty story out there. Ask Lobumba. Ask Lobumba. When I wrote the report to them, and I said, this is what has happened. This is what has happened. I reported it so that they could be aware of the dishonesty of the contractors. So in future they know they have to watch them with plenty eyes. You know what happened next? When that project was completed, I was sent to Bartica, Region 7, as the clerk of work for one of the biggest construction the government was doing in Bartica at that time, the Mongripper Hill Multipurpose Center. Go to Bartica and you check the Mongripper Hill Multipurpose Center. It was like an all-purpose facility with technical school and so on housed there. I was sent there as clerk of work to overlook that. I assume because of my integrity and not asking what is in it for me. Right? We have to move past what is in it for us and think about the long term for our community, even our families. It may not be you nor your children who will suffer from what is happening there now, but generations to come. And in your old age, you might be able to sit back and reflect and say, you know, we made a mistake when we allowed the PPP to do this because we were selfish. Y'all understand that? Watch out, my people. That's all I can say to you. It's now 8 hours 37. The lines are open. 6225933 is the number to call. I would be happy for a whole long list of Buxtonians to call in and
conniving morning. When you had your pocket full, in our bills there'll be morning. Now because your money done, you hustle for there'll be morning.
All day me walk and talk, all day me walk. I will continue to walk and talk. Morning, neighbor, morning. Wanna measure right, gaffer, measure over. I will continue to walk and talk. Welcome to another program of Buxtonian Morning Time. I'm your host, KAMSTV. Give thanks. The old people got a thing that they sell like you drink water after us. When your story long, when you're talking long, they say like you drink water after us. Well, I'm telling y'all on this particular issue, may drink water after us. We will continue to talk about Buxton Ground and the robbery which has taken place there. And those who are singing praises for the robbers. And we will continue to talk about those who are also singing praises for Batty Lion. And I got something for Batty Lion this morning. It's raining, so I'm going to be shouting because I want you to hear me clearly. Let me tell you, I noticed that the audio from the primer was kind of out of sync. Poor editing. Right? Poor editing. But don't worry, you got the message. I know you got the message. And I know they're getting the message. Before I delve into this issue again, I know many of you, or all of us, are concerned about Mr. Jordan, Winston Jordan. And so by way of update, let me say to you that the last I heard is that he was at a medical facility, a private medical facility, resting. And the doctors have actually placed him on medical rest. Because what happened yesterday following his arrest by Soku, and whatever transpired during or after that arrest, he was rushed to the Pleasance Health Center and referred to the Georgetown Hospital. Mr. Jordan, when he went to the Pleasance Health Center, had either suffered a minor stroke or was on the verge of suffering a minor stroke. Right? When the doctors and the nurses checked his vitals and so on, my understanding is that his blood pressure was so high, his sugar level was high. Remember, he's diabetic. He has declared that on this program, so there's nothing that is disrespectful in that light. Right? It was so high that he had to take preventive action. Immediate action to try to get the blood sugar down, get the blood pressure down, and so on. They called an ambulance to transport him to the Georgetown Hospital. But the officers of Soku insisted that they are not going to allow any ambulance to take him anywhere. They have to take him back to Soku. Right? And so take him back they did. They took him back to Soku against the advice of the medical professionals at the health center. The advice of the medical professionals was that this man needs urgent, immediate attention to prevent him suffering a stroke. Or worse. But they took him back to Soku, and then I understand he was released in the care of Christopher Jones and others, and taken to a private medical facility where the doctors did what they had to do. I am saying to you people, I am saying to you this morning, should Mr. Jordan suffer a stroke, God forbid, or worse, those at Soku and this cabal must be held accountable. They must be held accountable. Many of you viewers live in the developed world, and you know that you can be the worst criminal, and the authority will not prevent you getting health care while you're in custody. And so if anything happens to Mr. Jordan, health-wise, this cabal and those at Soku must be held accountable. When elements of the PPP were arrested under the coalition government, as a matter of fact, I don't even call it arrest because all of them were invited to go to Soku to give statements, etc. But hundreds of their supporters turned out in protest. Hundreds. But unfortunately, when people are being picked off from the APNU-AFC coalition, from the last government, for this kind of treatment. They're not seeing the presence of numbers in support of them. And that speaks volumes. It speaks volumes of the ineffectiveness of the present opposition to rally its people, to defend its leading members and leaders within this society who are supportive of the coalition. And something has to give. Something has to give. Citizens have to stand up against these excesses of the PPP. I said it in a brief comment to Mark yesterday. We have to put a spoke in the wheel of this cabal which continues to harass and victimize our community leaders, our political representatives, in the way that they're doing. Because for everyone they arrest and they'll treat and nobody does anything about it, they become bolder and bolder and bolder. And soon enough, Rickford Burke suggests a possibility that Jordan was poisoned because he started showing signs of illness after he drank water from somebody. He requested water and was given a glass of water at Soku, and that is when he started showing signs of illness. I don't know, but I'm saying that the PPP will continue to push the envelope to the detriment of those who we claim as our leaders, those who we claim as our representatives. Issuing statements might be necessary, but it can't be the end of it all. Let us take note of that. Let us take note of that. Let us rally around our leaders, our activists, to keep them safe. That's what I want to say this morning in relation to the Jordan matter. As information becomes available, we'll talk more about that. There's several things I want to talk this morning, so you can expect an extended program. I can tell you that. Maybe go to 10:37. I don't know. But we'll be extending this program because I want to deal with some matters and I want to deal with them in depth. And first up, let's continue with the Buxton Bargong scenario. We talk, the people were singing the praises of Ramson are talking about progress and development and improvement. I want to show y'all what progress and development looks like. This is on Charles Ramson's page. I don't visit these guys' pages because I usually say if they want one more like or one more view to go viral, it won't be from me. But people send me information and I'm thankful for that. So somebody inboxed me last night. A comment by Ramson, which we will deal with later, talking about the Burnham days and PPP days. Somebody sent me a comment. And on clicking on that comment, I ended up on his page. Of course, I can't comment on his page because we're no friends. But I want you to have a look here. Those of you who are singing the praises of Ramson and see what progress is. You see that? That's progress. I want you to first note the fence is zinc. It is constructed of timber and zinc. If you look at it, it is recently constructed. At least it looks that way. I want you to take note of that. And so there's nothing wrong with a timber and zinc fence around the ground because it is the most sensible thing to do. I want you all to note that. And so they got a fence with zinc and timber. They didn't get a 5-foot chain link fence on a metal frame close to the seawall that will eventually be corroded by the salt here. They got a timber and zinc fence. But oh, what a glorious day for the people of Region 3. That's in Region 3. What you all know about Region 3? If you all didn't know, let me tell you, Region 3 is a big PPP stronghold. A big PPP stronghold. So let me talk about what you get in singing the praises of Ramsden and his cabal. For upgrading your ground according to you. You see that structure which is going up there? It is concrete and timber. Concrete and timber. That is a pavilion. The building. And you're talking about upgrade? That is upgrade. So when y'all want to talk about upgrade, ensure y'all know what y'all talking about. And don't make black people look like fools. Like black people know about nothing. Look, this is a view from up top, looking down into the glorious ground in Region 3. It's built of zinc and timber. Zinc and timber. And you take a look. Look at another angle of that wonderful pavilion. And you watch it. And you believe that removing all of the zinc sheet that boxing people money pooled together like the ancestors did to fence the ground, to renovate the ground, you believe removing all the zinc sheets from the front and replacing it with a 5-foot chain link fence is an upgrade. That is progress. That is what you should be asking for or demanding when you're begging according to you. According to y'all, you beg the president. So if you are begging the president, beg for something substantial. Beg for something substantial, people. That is something substantial. Don't beg for them to denigrate what you have. Don't beg for them to reduce the value of what you have. If you're begging, you want improvement. And the removal of a zinc fence and replacing it with chain link is not improvement. As some people say, some women got to be careful with some men because they will take them out of bread and can't give them biscuit. In this instance, BUXTONIAN got to be careful with some villagers because they are allowing people to take away our bread and give us crumbs. That's what they're doing. And but some people need to wake up and stop living in fear and stop saying, I'm politician and I want to get involved in this and I want nobody burn down my house and I want nobody kill me and so on and so forth. And I fear for my family. Fear my hell. Man can do as much as he wants to do, or he can plan as much as he wants to plan. But at the end of the day, as the Indian guy in Annandale said in the morning, I so admire him. You see this here? God got to remove this from the face of the earth. No man. God put me and God got to remove it from the face of the earth. So y'all stop living in fear and represent what is rightfully yours. Represent what is rightfully yours. This is development. You see? Sand and stone in the ground. Look, every picture, every photo that I go forward with, you're seeing zinc. Oh my God, look at it. Somebody is asking where it is. According to that bin in the background, I'm a good investigator. According to that bin in the background, it says Tushan. It says Tushen. And if you look at the angle, if you see where that motorcycle is, that is the gate. It's a big steel gate. It's a steel gate. That is what a ground is. With that kind of construction, it provides so many possibilities. But you can't see it. Y'all accept the removal of a zinc fence from the front of the ground for 5-foot chain link fencing and its progress. Zinc again. What else y'all want to see to understand that you've been sodomized? I want to use the raw rank word despite the fact that it's upon the law books. It is in the law. It is written as raw rank as I can use it. But I play a little decent this morning because I know there are children who normally listen to me and look at me as a role model. Role model. R-O-L-E model. M-O-D-E-L. Role model. Some people ain't got this thing right. They think it's road. And since some of y'all think it's road, y'all in a model. M-U-D-D-L-E. Are you in confusion? Are you don't understand what's going on, but running out your mouth? I like running my mouth, but I just get my facts right. And so this injustice must be righted. This injustice must be righted. Buxton people need to demand from Batty Lion and the contractor who is closely aligned to Kashif and Shanghai and their lackeys in this village that the zinc sheets be returned, and if the government doesn't want to pay to put it in place, villagers can pay to put it in place. Because it is ours. And Buxton people need to also demand that the committee of management be a committee of management established by an act, the Neighborhood Democratic Council, because that's the local authority and they should have responsibility for the ground. Responsibility for the ground, management of the ground should not be in the hands of private individuals, regardless of which political party they are associated with. And so Buxton people need to wake up and stop thinking, I don't play sports, I don't use the ground, I ain't got time with what they do at the ground. Your children's future and present are tied up in that same ground. Because your children need recreational space, number one. Number two, there are great experiences which can come to your children at that ground. Is Buxton too far off or distant a place for a circus to come? Let your children get an experience of what a circus is? No, it's not. But it will not happen when you have a ground that is as open as Buxton ground, now fenced with chain link. So think outside the box, my people. Think outside the box. A Buxtonian is not fitting enough to host an international concert at their community ground. We are more than fit. We are more than deserving. But how can you do it when the facility is not conducive to doing it? But yet you have people who are singing the praises of these crooks and criminals because, as they say, birds of a feather flock together. And so a lot of them are turning a blind eye to this highway robbery because they have considered one thing. I'm making a bread. I'm making a bread. I'm making a bread. They are not concerned about the rest of the community. From who breads, loaves of bread have been stolen. They ain't considering that. Once I make a bread, I good. The rest of y'all could eat the bread that the devil need. Hard times. But once I make a bread, I good. And that's the problem we have in this society. People are not standing up for what is right. They're standing up for their pockets. What is in it for me? And I want to continue to tell you all about what is in it for me. Y'all keep sending things to me because they need addressing. And the teacher in me says that yes, some things need addressing. And I will be leading my people astray or letting my people down if I don't add to their education. And so this morning I'm taking my time. The teacher in me says that I must address these issues. And so here again is one of my villagers singing the praises of Charles Ramsden.
You don't know and put me with the minister. The minister come and do the ground. We beg the president when he come in Buxton for do Friendship Road. The man end up giving Friendship and Buxton middle walk. Y'all have 5 years in power. And y'all ain't do nothing for the village. Y'all can't tell me nothing. You understand? I know good about y'all. All what y'all do is enough promise. Hey, Mr. Charles, big up yourself. From since I know you from since you go in there, you're doing good things and continue doing good things because nothing don't come easy and you're going to always get fight down. Don't matter how much good you do, Mr. Charles, you're going to always get fight down. You understand? Me see nothing wrong with what the man say. With black people supposed to be more road model. They get a lot of road model, but we need to step up and start looking out for we black people more. This is what we got to start doing. You understand? And this is what we doing. You all see? Them trying to fight me down. Me own black brothers, them. Trying to fight me down. But I don't get time with them. Mr. Charles, big up yourself. You're doing a good work. You understand? Just respect the same.
Respect a man's opinion, but you can also challenge it. And so let's talk about begging the president to do Friendship Road and getting Buxton Road done. There's something that people don't understand. And you don't blame people. Because a lot of information has not been put out there by the coalition government. And so when you hear people talk and they are misinformed or ill-informed, then you take the opportunity to set them right. Right? Y'all respect the saying. And this is the saying. The coalition has been in office for 5 years. It has been an effective government for 3 years. What is the difference between being in office and being an effective government? In the US, when the president changes, the sitting president has, 2 or 3 months to give up office. I think they call him a sitting duck president. Because what you are doing in that period is basically transitioning out of the system. Once that no confidence motion was passed in the National Assembly and a few court cases were heard, the Granger government became a sitting duck government. Lame duck. Yes, that's the word. Thank you, Robin. Lame duck president, lame duck government. They could have accessed no money from the Treasury, except, is it 1/10 or 1/3 of the previous year's budget? So all they could have accessed money to do is the administrative functions, ensure staff gets paid. It's as simple as that. And so all that they were able to do in the first 3 years is quite frankly all that they were able to do in 5 years. And if you look at the approach of the Granger administration, I don't say I like it. I don't say support it in totality. But I say it benefited Guyanese. Buxtonians got benefit out of it. What Granger sought to do, quite frankly, is address, according to him, the most depressed of depressed communities. And so he went to the interior to ensure that the Amerindian people had access to potable water. Because they weren't getting that. While we were getting that on the coast, although it might not have been to a satisfactory level, they were getting none. And so he went there to fix that, along with other things. Healthcare nationally was addressed. So in a great part, what we can argue, or what I can say, is a lot of national projects were undertaken. And so you could have go to the Georgetown Hospital and get better health care. You could have go to the police and get better service. The education system was much more improved. Our children were getting breakfast. They were getting more than breakfast. They were getting more than the 5 Bs. Those were quote-unquote national projects. So individual communities might not have gotten the benefit that they expected in those 3 years. Let's not run from that. In all of the midst of that, Buxton got a raid project valued hundreds of millions of dollars, where hundreds of acres of land were clear at the back of Buxton. The drainage and irrigation system was fixed. When last year, LA Buxton flood, we got there so much rain falling. In Buxton and on the borders of Buxton, there are 3 mechanical pumps. And in case y'all don't know, because I know enough of y'all don't know, Buxton sits in a basin. And so when it rains, the water from east, west, north, and south comes and settles in Buxton. And until east, west, north, and south is drained, Buxton wasn't getting drained. Let's talk. It's a teachable moment. And so you got pumps now draining Buxton, and so we're not affected by flood, at least not as bad as before, even if some people will argue that me yard is getting water, but they ain't going to check the lowness of their land. They're going to say the authority is responsible for it. So let's address that. Right? So Buxton didn't get everything that Buxtonians expected to be delivered on a platter from a government that is support. I can understand that. We are disappointed. But I can understand also that if we take time to reason things out, then we can give a little here and there for our disappointments. But it is always about what is in it for me. I don't care what I'll say. It is always about what is in it for me, and that is how some people see it only. They don't see gray, it's strictly black or white. Right? So let's continue to talk about that. Buxton has terrible roads. Every single road in Buxton was bad. I live on one of the worst roads on the Buxton sideline. Every interconnecting road in the village of Buxton, cross streets as we call them, is bad. Taxis don't go there. If the coalition did 5 roads in Buxton, according to my memory, they did a lot. Right? But I can tell you, when they did a road, it was a road that had quality. The Brush Dam Road was done under the coalition as far as I remember. Quality road. Company Road, I think, was done under the coalition. Quality road. But let's continue to talk about roads. Our villager says that they begged the president, Irfan Ali, they begged Ali, the fat guy, to do the Friendship Road. Take note, the road was done after I cost them up and tell them that $3 million to fix the bar ground, it makes sense because the road that leads access to the bar ground is in a deplorable state. The same road leads to the water purification plant in a deplorable state. The same road leads to the only secondary school in Buxton is in a deplorable state. And so eventually it was fixed because friends and cronies of the government begged for it to be fixed. But they didn't only fix the Friendship Road. They do Company Road also. Assuming I'm quoting right, because I don't always remember things. Right? But let me tell you about this, which a lot of people seem to think they know and they didn't know. And I'm going to be a little historical. The widening of the East Coast Road that we are now enjoying, the 4-lane road as we call it, was scheduled. It's a project which started under the PPP. It was scheduled to stop at Annandale. Y'all know what I say? All the fancy works on the East Coast Highway now was scheduled to stop at Annandale. Because after Annandale is Buxton. Annandale is the last community before Buxton. And so from Sheriff Street all the way to Annandale, you would get nice concrete drains and so on. We like to, the foreigners will call them storm drains. So you will have storm drains and so on with pavement and so on up to Annandale. And after there, Buxton would have remained in decadence. Buxton would have remained ancient. But as God would have it, as the Creator would have it, government changed. And the coalition say, this project will not stop at Annandale. It will continue through Buxton, and it will go as far as we can take it. They took it up to Belfield, if I remember. They took it up to Belfield, if I remember. And so Buxton has the same looks, a narrow stretch of road, because the roadside doesn't allow for the widening of the road in Buxton, because Buxton properties extend to the road front. And of course, I would assume the coalition didn't have the necessary money to compensate people to move, because the project was developed under the PPP and they did not cater for that. But they catered for moving of people between Cherry Street and Annandale. Let me tell you all about moving of people from the roadside in terms of shifting them back. Government usually have to compensate them for the land. And so from Cherry Street to Annandale, people get compensated for the land. The PPP put money in the hand. But Buxtonians weren't deserving of that, so we're going to stop the project at Annandale. Let them Buxton people stay in their poverty. Let's continue to talk. And so the coalition said, we can't move them. We ain't got money to move them. But we could improve what we could improve along the way. And so Buxton got storm drains and they got pavement and so on. A little widening road and thing. Under the coalition. Because the coalition did not stick with the plan that the PPP had to bypass Buxton. You know what has happened on the project? The coalition saved because of prudent management. And this may not be national information because, again, the coalition failed in its PR, perhaps. But my investigation says that the coalition saved almost $8 million on that project. 8 million US. Right? 7 point something, almost 8. And the decision was, this saving, instead of giving it back to the donor, we will take it and we will fix interconnecting roads. We will fix roads connecting to the highway. We will fix roads connecting to the highway. We will bring some of them up to the level of the highway. And those which are bad, we will make them usable. I hope you are understanding what is happening. Let me tell you what the connecting roads are in case you don't understand. So you got the highway running east to west, and the interconnecting road would be those running north to south. So Buxton Milwaukee, Church of God Road as we call it, is an interconnecting road. Agriculture Road at Money Post is an interconnecting road. Lusignan Road by the market is an interconnecting road. Friendship Road is an interconnecting road. And I can name them so you had a good understanding. My understanding is that there were 3 roads identified for Buxton. 3 interconnecting roads identified to be done in Buxton. 3 of them. From that money. But like I said, remember the coalition after 3 years couldn't do crap. Except pay salaries. So they couldn't execute that project because they couldn't access the money. They couldn't draw nothing from the consolidated fund. I hope some of y'all even understand what consolidated fund is. Right? And so they couldn't get those roads done. But BUPSCOM, the PPP installers they are. And they started fixing interconnecting roads. And so my dear friend and villagers are arguing, making the point that they begged the fat guy to fix Friendship, and he fixed Friendship and Company, or Friendship or Milwaukee, whichever one. But he fixed 2. What happened to the 3rd one that the coalition had planned? Again, instead of giving you 3 out of 3, they give you 2 out of 3. They shall change you. Had the coalition been allowed to continue doing what it could have done, or what it had planned to do, Buxton would have had at least 3 roads fixed. But we beg the fat guy and we get 2. And so they're doing good for us. Right? They're doing good for us because, of course, we're not privy to the facts that matter. And so, like I say, we can't blame our villagers. We could explain to them. Can't blame them, we could explain to them. So Buxton people got 2 out of 3 roads fixed. 3 were budgeted for. And 7, except I don't necessarily need to call people's names. But there are people who can verify that information. And why I don't want to call people's names is because what? They have professional relationships with this current government. That's how they earn their bread. Right? But people who do not necessarily know, they come and they spew their bile in quote-unquote representation of Buxton. Well, like I said yesterday, one of the smart things to do is to find the elders, find community leaders, bona fide community leaders. Find people who've been doing the work and sit and talk with them and let them guide you accordingly. So since you got a hearing of the fat guy and the others in the cabal, you can make sensible representation to them. We want an upgrade to our ground. An upgrade is not chain link fencing and metal. Because the chain link is too low and it's too transparent. And it is going to be corroded by the salt here. That can't be good for us. That's not an upgrade. An upgrade for us is either you strengthen the zinc and timber that we have, or if you want to make changes, put concrete. Wiser heads could share that knowledge with you. Right? But while we got 2 roads fixed in Buxton, and we have previously 3 roads were planned to be fixed, but we got 2 fixed. And we still got a whole lot of roads that taxis wouldn't go, people can't use properly, and so on. Impassable road. Why we got that? The same people that we singing praises to are building roads to nowhere in some communities. They're building high-class roads to nowhere in some communities. They're going into communities that don't necessarily need road upgrade, and they're fixing roads. Let us take, for example, when last I saw the agriculture road, as we call it at Monterey Post. Those who know agriculture road will tell you that agriculture road was in a good state. But several weeks ago, our friends in government who care so much about BUXTONIANs resurfaced agriculture road from the public road to the line, and currently they're doing from the line down south. Bakewell Road, I can tell you about Bakewell Road. Was in good condition. Was in good condition. It was in such good condition that when they decided that they had to resurface it, they had to bring heavy duty machinery to break out the road humps. To break out the road humps. So resources that could have been used to fix roads in Buxton were used to nice up communities that had proper roads. And we sing in the praises of the fat guy and the bishop and others. Is it a lack of understanding or a lack of wisdom? I don't know. But they say where ignorance is bliss is folly to be wise. Some of us living our little cocoons, and we believe we have all the knowledge from that cocoon. But until we outgrow that cocoon and we expand our territory, if I can call it that, we will never understand what's happening. Y'all understand what I'm saying? When I say don't tell them about transparent, some of them ain't even know what that is. Tell them see through. Yes, you agree. I agree with you. You see, every moment is a teachable moment, and everyone is a moment to learn. And so thank you, Rhonda. Transparent might be too big a word, yes. The chain link fencing allows you to see too much. It's see-through. It ain't getting no privacy. Right? And so yes, Batty Lion responded to a request to do something at the ground. The request has resulted in a poorer state of the ground as far as I'm concerned. And any right-thinking villager and citizen will agree with me that it is worse than it was, even with its dilapidated front fence. Yes, we begged the fat guy and he did two roads for us. My information is that the coalition had 3 planned, but in no confidence motion put a spoke in the wheel. They couldn't do any. Yes, Batty Lion responded to do something to our ground, but while he made it worse than it was, in Region 3, they're building concrete structures and maintaining zinc fence and timber around the grounds. When we can see that, then we can decide if we're getting justice, if we're getting what we really desire, or we're getting shafted and singing while we're being shafted. That's what we have to do. It is now 8:15. According to my big man friend, it's time to segue to another issue. But we ain't come out Batty Lion yet. Ain't come out Batty Lion. It's Friday too. And so I feel I need to rest my throat a little. I've been talking long. And so let me play a tune for you before we come back to Batty Lion. And this one is dedicated to Batilai and the Cabal and their cronies. Ta-da!
I know some of you wouldn't believe me, but if a lie asked me good friend Mackie, it was a big lying competition to see who they will crown as lion champion. Liars from all parts of the West Indies, big shot liars from all them foreign countries. From a feel about 1,000 or so entry in 2 days, he boiled down and leave just 3. I had me eye on Liar the Lion, because I know he does come with some good ones. But they had a younger fella named Debo, come from some village there in Tobago. He say his father is Tobago's best fisherman. Catch a fisherman wide 80 feet in span. He had to tie it on the boat and swim back to land to get his brother Eric to give him a hand. You hear lie? That is lie. Lie? You hear lie? Teacher Pussy say if you tell a lie, you go into hell as soon as you die. I said, check it out. Liar the lion, he laughed till he sweat. He said, Mr. Debo, ain't say nothing yet. If you really want to hear about fishing, let me blow your mind. Now listen to something. When you're talking about fish, you just hit the spot. I was hoping you did believe it or not. The fish your father caught, to you it was great, but it's them small fish my father does use for bait. Lion went ahead on points in the show, completely eliminated Mr. Debo. The next man to beat was really outrageous. He asked the judges if he could lie first. The judges asked Lion. The Lion agreed. Say any topic we'll pick is alright with me. He outrageous, I strong. Let we meet head on. And when we done, see who had fit to wear the crown. You hear lie? That is lie. Lie? You hear lie? Teacher Pussy say if you tell a lie, you go into hell as soon as you die. Let it go. Let it go. Shook it up. Yep. The outrageous say that he knew a tailor comes to making suit. The man is the master. If you show him a man coming round a corner, he could make him a suit and don't even measure. A talking about suit, sitting down correct, expertly made and fitting perfect. He used to sew for Shakespeare, make suit for Hamlet, and up to this day yet make a mistake yet. You know the crowd went wild, they couldn't cool down. As a liar, the lion losing the crown. The judges brought the crowd back to order and asked the lion to lie about a tailor. He said, my man is the best, Rolf is his name. Cutting cloth, making suit is his game. Don't show him the man, my tailor is class. Just show him the corner where the fella pass, and he gon' make a suit. That is tailor, you hear lie?
That is lie.
Teacher Pussy say if you tell a lie, you go into hell as soon as you die. Flip it up.
Flip it
Lay
up.
it up. Lay it up. Move it up. Let it go.
Da-da-da. Da-da-da.
Teacher Pussy say if you tell a lie, you go into hell as soon as you die. Teacher Pussy say if you tell a lie, you go into hell as soon as you die.
Teacher Percy said if you tell a lie, you're going to hell as soon as you die. Well, let me talk about some lies. You see this thing here? It's somebody lion. Well, you see name big up there, Charles Ramson. Let me tag the thing. So November 27th at 3:15 p.m., according to Facebook, Charles Ramson had this to say. Somebody please tell the bitter APN, UFC, and PNC folks that all parents want to and should want to create gold spoons for their children. And for the record, the early part of my life was under the PNC government, and the PNC ran this country for 28 consecutive years. But instead of creating many gold spoons in the country, the PNC turned Guyana into the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, even with what they refer to as a gold spoon. You cannot run from the realities of life in this poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. My mom, even while she was pregnant with me, had to wait in what was called guidelines for 6 hours for basic food items, and even after waiting for so long, sometimes she would not get anything. By the way, she is still alive, so she could tell them all about it if they like. I remember well the times when we would have had weeks of blackout in the late 80s, early 90s. Not days or hours, weeks. I remember well how we had to boil our water to drink because there was color in the water and it would kill people. That's right. Our water could kill you because Ghana couldn't afford the chemicals to treat the water to make it safe. I remember well the bathrooms filled with tubs of water because water came only once a day for no more than 1 hour, if you were lucky. I remember well bathing with gold and cream butter bowls. I remember well bathing with gold and cream butter bowls. I remember well waiting in lines around Camp Street for hours and hours just to get gasoline. I remember well studying with my mom for years with a candle and a lamp. I remember the craters which used to be in the road all over Georgetown. Craters, not holes. Even on Main Street, Essequibo Main Road was called, unfortunately, Abortion Road. You can guess why. The fact is that the horrors of poverty the PNC left this country in can keep going and going. But if that is the gold spoon they are referring to, then thanks for allowing me to remind everyone of their failure as a political organization in government. That being said, the President finally led the PPPC government will be working relentlessly to fulfill all of our promises on our manifesto and improving the lives of all Guyanese. So I encourage everyone to participate in our program of progress and prosperity. Let me talk. Now this boy say he lived through the 80s and 90s. Right? Experiencing these things. Well, fact check, this boy was born in 94, I think. Oh, Ladoy, right? Fact check. Or in 94, this boy was about 8 years old. So you lived through the 80s and 90s with these experiences. Right? But in 94, you were only about 8 years old. Y'all follow me there? Good. Address that one for yourself. But let's talk about Ghana being the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. So true. So true. What were the circumstances surrounding the state of Guyana at that time? And again, you don't blame people for not knowing. You blame them for not wanting to know. Right? That's what you blame them for. But before I go there, let's talk about water. He grew up getting 1 hour water a day. Ghana wasn't producing oil. Ghana was not constrained by the Cold War. Ghana was not constrained by, what we call it? Foreign exchange, or a shortage of foreign exchange and so on. Good? Let's note all of that. But now in a period when Ghana is producing oil, we are supposedly having a strong foreign exchange reserve, There is no Cold War. Water is still being rationed to Guyanese. Under the coalition government, let's talk. Under the coalition government, not so long ago, people were getting 24 hours water. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. People were having access to water 24 hours. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's number one. Number two, people were getting water pressure, at least up to the first level of their homes. Talk to me, y'all. Right? At least up to the first level of their homes, people were getting water. As we say, natural flow. They didn't have to use pumps, pressure pumps to get water up to the first floor of their homes. Under the coalition. And they were getting 24 hours water. It's just a little over a year. It's just a little over a year. And I can speak from the standpoint of Buxton. There isn't a day that goes by without some section of this village having water issues. Right? There isn't a day that went by or goes by without some section of this village having water issues. The pressure too low, you can't even get water in your yard, much less on your first floor. Buxtonians can tell you, and I'm sure it is across the country, people can tell you. As a matter of fact, I know someone who lives in what we might consider a well-to-do area. Right? And last I checked, she told me she had to bring her washing machine into the yard to get water to wash. Y'all hear what I'm saying? All you hear me? So while under the coalition, without oil pumping, people were getting access to 24-hour water in many instances, many places, if not all. With natural pressure taking it up to their first floor. I see Joan Waterton is saying, vigilance out ain't getting none. Less than a year under this so-called progressive government, people getting water pressure issue. On a regular thing reaching in the yard, much less to the first floor. And we see this as progress. He's talking about blackout for weeks. Yes, Ghana had those days. But under the PPP, every day was blackout also. It wasn't for weeks, but it was certainly for extended hours. And under the coalition, in the 3 effective years of government, blackout had almost become a thing of the past. And y'all compare that period to now with this illegitimate cabal. How often do you get blackout? Compared to when the coalition was in office. And they call it progress. And this is a period when oil pumping. And they're talking about Ghana making what? This might be the 5th or 6th lift. And you got hundreds of millions of US dollars. In the NRF. But people are still enjoying blackout on bad roads. Eureka, I found it. Oil pumping. We have access to foreign exchange. We have a strong foreign exchange reserve. But every community can complain of bad roads. Bad roads, poor water supply, and blackout on a regular. And we call this progress. This is the progress these folks are talking about. This is the progress we're talking about. That's how the man said we're making progress. So for your information, Mr. Ramsey, let me remind you that people are still bearing with gold and cream water bowls. Because they're not getting water through their showers. People still got to fetch water in buckets to take upstairs. Because the water pressure can't reach their first floor. But you will recognize that. Because you have your gold spoon in your mouth, provided by the government and people of Guyana. You have your gold spoon on the backs of the people, the taxpayer of this country. Right? Has Guyana moved from being the second poorest country in the Western Hemisphere? The PPP was in government for 23 years to do it. Did they move us? We're not getting water for 1 hour. But is the quality of water the same as we were getting when the coalition was in office effectively for 3 years? It has deteriorated. Those are some of the things I want to address with this post. But I got something else to show y'all. There's something else you must see. Where is it? Let's talk about gold spoons. And how some people's gold spoons were acquired. Some of y'all are shocked. You know they say don't cause the hand that feed you. You don't cause the bridge you cross. I don't bite the hand that feed you. Well, let's talk about gold spoons. We'll talk about gold spoons. I'm getting it up for you. I want you to see what a gold spoon looks like. Because some people are so fond of their role models that they don't take the time to find out who were their role models' role model. Ha ha ha! Oladoy! It's a hell of a hobble. Y'all watch me there. Look on the screen. And I will read with you, class. Let's read along. Statement of Justice Charles R. Ramson, Senior Counsel, OR. I assume that's Order of Roraima. So the man is well lettered. Right? Let's read. Ramson makes this statement. Some 65 years ago, I was born, and since then resided in Georgetown, Guyana, save for my 4-year period of study in England, where I graduated with the LLB honors, second class, and barrister at law degrees. My late father, J.W.G. Ramson, was a very close associate of President, listen for it, L.F.S. Burnham, QCOE. I want to believe QC means Queen's Counselor, or E might be Order of Excellence, I don't know. Since 1962, and my political consciousness had its embryonic groundings in that environment. So much so that by way of further reward for his loyalty, I was offered by Mr. Burnham, then Prime Minister, the position of the First Minister of Energy and Mines in 1973. After all was discovered in the Takatu Basin in Region 9, but I respectfully declined. Let's read it again, class. Statement of Justice Charles R. Ramson, SCOR. Some 65 years ago, I was born and since then resided in Georgetown, Guyana. save for my 4-year period of study in England, where I graduated with the LLB honors, second class, and barrister at law degrees. My late father, J.W.G. Ramsden, was a very close associate of President L.F.S. Barnum, QCOE, since 1962, and my political consciousness had its embryonic groundings in that environment. So much so that by way of further reward for his loyalty, by way of further reward, I was offered by Mr. Barnum, then PM, the position of First Minister of Energy and Mines in 1973, after oil was discovered in the Takatu Basin in Region 9, but I respectfully declined. And you understand what happening there? Some people talking about gold spoon. Some people talking about role model. But the very people who talking about gold spoon and respect for their fathers as role models are beneficiaries of the very people that they are demonizing. Charles Ramsden Sr. benefited from 4 years of study in England because of his father's friendship with Forbes Barnum. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Because of his grandfather's friendship with Barnum, Charles Ramsden's father was able to study in England for 4 years. Because of his grandfather's friendship with Barnum, Charles Ramsden's father was offered a ministerial post in 1962. Is that a year? 1973. He was offered a ministerial post in 1973. For whatever reasons, he declined. And so when you're talking about role model and getting gold spoons, what part did Forbes Barnum play in Charles Ramsden Jr. being born with a gold spoon in his mouth? What part did Forbes Barnum play in Charles Ramsden Sr. becoming a lawyer to whom his son can look up? So would we be fair in arguing that had Barnum not been a good role model, Charles Ramsden Sr. might not have been a lawyer to be a role model to this young ignore Charles Ramsden Jr.? Y'all talk to me. I am trying to understand it. Huh? Black people lack role models. They don't have role models. But they have enough role models to put gold spoons in the mouths of the macarams, like Charles Ramsden Jr. Ni macaram, ungrateful. Yeah? Are you following the reasoning? But no, black people good for nothing. I want young Ramsden the ignore go and ask his grandfather if he is alive, or he could go by the graveside and talk how he feels or thinks about Forbes Barnum as a black man and as a role model. I want him to go and ask his father, Charles Ramsden Sr., how he feels about the impact of Forbes Barnum's decisions and support in his life. And see if they will agree with him that there is no role model. Black people lack role model to show them success. My boy, Lil Bai. The man who has fashioned your success is a black man of whom all of us are proud, Fabs Burnham. He had his feelings. He had his feelings. But he also had vision. Education from nursery to primary, free education. I often wonder, I have never taken the time to investigate. Did Charles Ramson Jr. benefit from free education in this country from nursery to primary? Y'all find out for me. Right? Y'all find out for me. Because if he was born in the 1980s, 86 or thereabout, he must have. Because I was born several years before him. And I benefited from free education from nursery to secondary. Unfortunately, the PPP changed it, so I had to pay at university. Right? So I'm certain that he would have benefited from free education. Brought into being by Forbes Burnham and the PNC. From nursery to university, it is your PPP government who changed it at university. Let me talk. I wonder if he benefited from a scholarship from the people and government of this country. Charles Ramson, tell us, did you? I see people are saying he went to QC. But I think someone told me that he also went to President's College. Maybe that's where he did sixth form. Or is it he went to President's College and he did sixth form at QC? Let's talk, Charles. The statement is there to see, written under the hand of your father. The man who has collected millions, if not billions, of Guyanese dollars, taxpayers' money, as the information czar, and has never produced one word for public consumption by way of the Freedom of Information Act in this country. Wish you all luck. All those who believe Charles should big up himself, he's doing a good thing, are going to always get fight down. And all those who believe that the PPP doing a good thing for Buxton, wish you all luck. I wish you all would open your eyes and see the three-card trick which is being played on you. Lines are open. 6225933 is the number to call. We'll go for another half hour. That's reasonable. 6225933 is the number to call. Lines are open. It's not me. It's my mouth. And I dare say, my intellect. I'm a role model. I shall always be a role model. I will always strive to be a role model. And let me tell you all, let me remind you all that Ipada G one-day sale event is in progress. It started since 8 o'clock. And we're going to bring you live footage eventually from the Square of the Revolution. Those of you who can go down there, go down and support our local producers. Call A Live, good morning.
Yes, sir. Good morning. How are you this morning?
I'm okay.
Yeah, today is the teaching day. But you know, sometimes the student would correct the teacher.
Go right ahead.
The student sometimes correct the teacher.
All the time. I allow my students to teach me.
Well, listen to this. This morning you spoke about the East Coast Road. While it would stop at Buxton. But you're not telling the people that when they reach at Buxton, the Buxtonians on the line top there, on the road top, refuse to move. So that program had to stop for a while. When the coalition took office and they decided to move on with the program, the project, they also failed to move the Buxtonians because they didn't want to move. it was the opportune time for them to put money in black people's hands. As you said, the PPP put money from Sheriff Street to Annandale in people's pockets. Why did the coalition put money in black people's pockets at Buxton? That's the first thing I want to correct.
Let's deal with that before you move on. Let's deal with that. I said to you that that project was designed under the PPP, and it's in its original conception and design, it was designed to stop. Hello, sir. Are you listening?
Yeah, continue.
In its original conception and design, it was designed to stop at Annandale. It therefore means that the budget for it did not cater to compensate anybody beyond Annandale, even if they were willing to move. Now, let me ask you this. If you can compensate people from Sheriff Street to Annandale for moving, why should the Buxtonians move without compensation? Let's talk.
Compensation would have been granted to Buxtonians too in the second phase of that project.
Which second phase are you talking about?
The extension, I think the road gone to my or somewhere.
The road was carried to Belfield under the coalition because the coalition decided that despite the fact that this road was scheduled to stop at Annandale, we owe it upon ourselves and the people further east to improve their infrastructure also. And we, because of prudent management, will use whatever resources we have saved to take the road to Belfield. As a matter of fact, the intention was to go as far as Rosignol.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you.
That wasn't the original concept. That was never the original concept of the expansion envisaged by the PPP. And let me say this to you. Taking the road to Belfield under the coalition did not require another cent in loan. It is the same loan which the PPP are taking to carry the road to Annandale that the coalition used, took the road to Belfield, and was able to save $8 million approximately, which the PPP are now using to do the interconnecting roads. So correct your teacher, but get your facts right.
Second point I want to make to you concerning the coalition 5 years in office. You said that they only performed 3 years and 2 years was a lame duck period. Well, I'm saying to you that for the 5 years, the coalition spent $1.3 trillion. And if you look at it, in the last 2 years, they spent about 75% of that money. You check the record. So when you come now and say that the coalition wasn't able to do much in the 2 years, that is where they spend more money. What do you have to say to that?
I am saying that the more money that they spent in those last 2 years, those monies were already budgeted for specific national projects. And so,
they spent $1.3 trillion.
I don't care the amount.
Most of that money was spent during the lame duck period.
Not true.
You check the records and be not true.
They couldn't access money based on the ruling of the CCJ and the local courts.
They couldn't access money.
Let's go to.
You check the facts. It will tell you that.
You bring the facts. You bring the facts. I want you to bring it. Let's go to.
Mr. Jordan, I haven't heard you said anything about Mr. Jordan this morning. Your good friend.
Carly, where were you, man? On the rock? You just come out to aggravate me? Huh?
You spoke about Mr. Jordan.
Have a good Have a good day. There are other callers who would like to talk, I'm sure.
No, let me make my point so you won't cut me off.
Go ahead. Make your point quickly, sir.
Mr. Jordan, the allegation against Mr. Jordan is that he sold the wharf at Water Street to BK for $20 million. You know that?
Continue, I'm listening.
The wharf is worth over $8 billion. Now tell me,
he sold that to BK for 20 million. How much gone in his pocket and whoever other pocket? But the corpus only get 20 million Guyana dollars.
Did you say?
That is fair?
Did you say the records show that the wharf was sold for $20 million?
You think that is fair?
I'm asking you a question. Did you say the records show?
Country?
Did you say the records show that the wharf was sold for $20 million?
Yes.
So what else? What else you asking me about going in Jordan's pocket? Let them prove that it went into Jordan's pocket. But let me say this. Let me set this record straight. Let me set this record straight. Right? The wharf was sold to BK under an agreement that he had with the PPP.
For $20 million?
I don't know how much. The wharf was sold under an agreement that BK had with the PPP. So you check your handlers and let them tell you that. I don't know.
For $20 million.
Sir, I don't know. All I'm saying it is, I know it was sold under an agreement that BK had with the PPP to lease to own.
Final point. You spoke about the bad PR of the coalition. Were you not part of the DPI? Were you not part of that? You know? And
Yeah.
you said...
No. Stop. Stick a pin. Stick a pin. Stick a pin. Stick a pin. There's a thing they call faulty syllogism. Faulty syllogism. I don't know if you get it right, but faulty syllogism. I can be a part of DPI. I wasn't the directorate of DPI.
You are responsible for the bad PR.
No, sir.
So what you
I
say-
can't bear responsibility for what I was not responsible for. I was a mere communications officer. I acted according to instructions given to me.
Now you dancing out.
How I dancing out? Your children are in your home. Your children are in your home. Are they responsible for the failures of your home? If they are not the authoritative figure in your home?
Final. I hope you don't have no skeleton in your closet.
I want you to find them.
Just like your father, Jordan.
I want you to look for them.
Just like how you dig deep for Ramson, father.
I said I want you to look for them. Go dig, man. I wish you luck.
All right, later.
Have a good day. Oh my, listen. Oh Lord. Oh my God. One does never see scholarly life.
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam.
Good
I am
morning to you.
upset with you because you keep entertaining that guy on the program. They just giving him things to say, and he coming through to this program to upset people and to lie.
Call us, take a
I think
pin.
that you should block him.
No, call us, take a pin. When he comes with the lies, I get to set the record straight. Don't you benefit?
No.
Okay, continue.
No, because
Go right ahead.
They believe in the foolishness that he's saying. They believe in the foolishness that he's saying. You think that any genuine person would call on their program with nonsense? No. He just wants to upset people and to doing the PPP bidding. Don't entertain him. That's wickedness. And you know what? I would want to say that these people like Ramson and them benefit from black people. That is how they are. They don't do, well, not all of them, they don't do nothing for nothing. The Jack Dio, when he came to finance the work, he was so pugly. Is he driving like Monty and them boys are shiny, that today he could tell himself that he's smart and he could do black people whatever he wants to do them. So you know what? As a people, we are proud. Every day we make history and we have our role models. You are one of our heroes and continue doing the good work. God bless you and happy Friday. Bye.
Thank you. Have a good day yourself. The lines are open. This 6225933 is the number to call. He wants to know if I have skeletons in my closet. I got. Yeah, I'll find them. Oh Lord. Some people just make my day. I won't believe it. Oy, oy, oy. Yes, I see some voice notes. Let me start playing them. What here?
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. Mr. Amsterdam, why do you entertain that man? That
Come
man
on the
have
line.
nothing to do. He comes on this program taking up program time where people have positive things to talking about the nonsense. If he taking if he's a PPP stooge, let he keep stooging under them and stop calling and stop getting into this program. This program is not for him. The more he stay off it, better. Keep his ideas and his thoughts and everything when he got among the PPP people them. Like take it there. We don't have time for nonsense. He's a house slave somehow or the other. Good.
Caller live, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. I would like to wish Minister Jordan a speedy recovery. And I would like to say something to Minister and to all people out there. Now, this is a time where we are going through the struggle. We are in a struggle. Worse than slavery. Because why I say worse than slavery? When we were kidnapped and taken from the motherland, we came and soon as we got caught, we were being enslaved. Because we were taken against our will and brought here to the Western Hemisphere. And after years of slavery, we became free. And when we became free, we started to enjoy certain attributes of freedom. And now with the PPP installed fraudulent regime cabal, they are trying to force us back. That's like if when a baby is born, and you would get a mother and try to force the fetus back into the mother's womb. The fetus can't go back. And that is what the PPP trying to do with us, to force us back into slavery. So we got to start struggle. But for people out there, now if you gotta go, I am guilty of that because I drink lots of water. I like for people who know you got your things like high blood pressure and them things. If Minister didn't remember, he could have walked with water from home. It got insulated cups. And I like that you're going to face these demons. You get a little lemon juice and you squeeze it in the water and you got your own water to drink. Because when you are at certain, I could tell of an experience I had when I had me wicked daughter, my son used to live underneath it. Every year, sometimes 2 times, 3 times a year, they're bringing up court cases against me. And one morning I was at Freedenook Magistrate Court. And when the magistrate called up the case and I stood up there, God has me alive. Because what I went through, you had to be standing at attention. And I had a sensation like that. Again, I think I would crap out in it. And I stood up there. And that was just another time was fearful because I went to court on many occasions. So the day, I don't know what happened. And with Minister H and the accusation that they are peddling, it would have had him riled up. That if was a night, look how he does his program, that going, you know you ain't guilty. You don't know what would be the outcome. And because of your underlying health problems would have risen. And then too, I look at them. Remember when Mr. Slow went to the court? When these young men were tugging at Mr. Slow to take him to lock him up, I want those young people to pray not to live to the age of retirement. I will be 61 next week Wednesday, and I have respect for my elders. I could remember as a younger person, I used to show people, aged people, with respect. So now I was a nurse, and whenever a maid come to the ward and call the maid, say, what is your name? If the maid is older than me, I put a handle to her name. Miss So-so-so, please do this to me. The porters, I found their names and I put handles. Well, if you're younger than me, I'm going to call you full mouth. And I had that respect because they were older than me. And these young thugs that are half in the police force, they'll try to harass these men by belittling them, grabbing them all around. But young people, pray that you all live. And what goes around comes around, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. And when things return to people, you know, they don't stop to study what they may have done prior to the time. But the first thing they do is say, oh, them don't got respect. I don't say that Paul Slow and the minister and them did it because Paul Slow and the minister came from parents who taught them to respect elders. But you see, these rough, puff things will come up now. Coming through 23 years of the PPP, that's the behavior. Most of them behaves like that. And they must sit down and respect a person. And coming back to what was said by Rickford Burke, it could be so true. Because I remember one of their own, Sam Hines, when he went to the wedding, but he ended up with cursing all in the coconut water. Who could tell what was offered to Minister Jordan? You like talk. You like show the right finance in this country. So what we going to do? Call you to Suku, stress you out, and you're going to fall. And when we fall, we're going to talk to you in whatsoever we give you. But Minister, pray for speedy recovery. The last thing about the thing, yesterday I met one of my committee members. God, they don't watch shows like this. And I told her of what has happened to the Buxton fence. We have a problem where a part of our community fence, center fence, has fallen down. The wood and the zinc fence. I say, yeah, I could sit down and let Batty Lion come and get Ayo one chain link fence. Because when the tide high, it has spray and betters in the community center yard. I said, so yeah, I could. She said, no. Brandon, we ain't gonna allow that. I said, it has happened to Buxton. When you got an open ball field, you cannot host any financial programs. So the house slave would jump up and talking, and then he got the followers. He's a stupid black man, that black man. Because I didn't live at Buxton. I heard about the atrocities of the PPP in Buxton when they used to go in there in the past 23 years and wake men up dead in the bed. And I'm quite certain he knew of that. And to see he gonna stand up and do a live post to talk out the PPP good. The PPP is not good. The PPP is making inroads into the black people area who they know they got strong support for APNU and PNC, WP and all the factions who will look after black people and break the fools. And when you see the get at the jackasses, sorry to say the word, on the program, because I don't like to be profane on the program. Things like that, house slave there, they're going to behave like that. And when things like that jump up, it got some of them will lukewarm, but might tend to follow a fool like that. But Buxton people stand their ground. So that is it. And if the persons who build that fence are the persons who get the contract to build the school in Linden, imagine what a wonderful job Linden people will get. I remember of schools that the tax to do, I've know how to clean up all the PPP fields what they left, even after the big hotel and that. So Granger should never do pay for the flipping Marriott. He had to come and write off the Marriott debt and they sit down for talk. What Granger do? As to the foolish man what spewing a lot of nonsense,
There is a certain show, I don't like the woman. And I don't even know when the show coming over. And the man, he's very disrespectful. And Kadaki, you got destroy the man. Make certain that when you see you done with him, he must threaten even for put down the phone. Get up his files and read it out. Destroy, do a live on Facebook and destroy the man. Because the man is a total grass. I just start down Granger when he does things wrong, and I love Granger. I just start. And everybody, criticism is good once it's healthy. And you show out your part. The 6 blind men of Hindustan, last topic, were given an elephant to talk about the elephant. One get the tail, one get the chest, one get the ears, one get the body, one get the foot, and the other one gets something. And when the 6 blind men came together, everybody gave their assumption on what they thought the elephant was because they were blind. So everybody is entitled to her or his own opinion. And the man, if you don't like your show, don't come on. We are being educated and we love your show. And last, Minister Jordan, I am praying for your recovery. And to all the people out there, when you're going out, I got to start doing though. Walk with a little bottle of water. Because sometimes, suddenly so, and you could sip. And all for people who know the hypertensive one, so get lemon or little lime. Squeeze the little thing in your water. It ain't gonna carry down your pressure right away. But at least it is going to try to stabilize it. So minister, have a good day. And remember, don't matter how you're rushing out, put a bottle of water in your car and got it there. So that you could sip at any time because that would save your life. Bye-bye.
Caller live, good morning. Caller live, good morning. 1 minute, caller. 1 minute. Caller. Caller. This my only talking, he ain't listening. Caller. I'm not hearing you loud enough. Caller, you there? Let's remember 6225933 is the number to call. I don't know what happened there. It was some kind of technical glitch, I guess. But it's not somewhere to be played. Listen up.
Good morning, Kidaki and viewers. Please stop playing those videos. Ignorance to its highest. I did not expect that from the second video. Because you know where it came from. You know his family. But you know, the first one, come on, Kidaki. Kidaki, please stop playing those videos. Come on. Watch the ground. There is food. There is job. Is that job? Is that food?
Caller live, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. How are you doing, sir?
Hi, good morning.
First of all, I was wondering to know, because I started late, I got onto the program a little bit late, so I didn't hear what was going on with Mr. Jordan, but I think all the callers calling and stuff like that, I think I heard that he might be a little bit ill and resting and something like that.
Yes, he's resting as far as I know.
Okay, perfect. I wish him all the best, speedy recovery and so on. Second, this guy that keeps calling all the time, you know, this guy is so filled up with ignorance because it seems like whoever is coaching him, beside him, is coaching whatever, they're not keeping up to date with things that are said and so on the program, because he keeps talking about stuff that you don't even know nothing about. You know, he's mentioning things and talking about things and trying to talk over you and all sorts of about things that and he's wrong most of the time. If people see that this guy is being dictated by somebody, you know, like somebody having sit in a chair and they just dictate everything that he says, and so it's pure ignorance is coming to him out. He's just so much uninformed, you know. He's not informed, and he's putting these things in the program, and I think a little bit that because of the church show and so on, you kind of entertain him a little bit, but and of course, you know, you try to let the public know the facts of what is going on and whatever he's talking about. But most of the public, even the people focus, they might be realizing that he's really doing a bad job because he's sounding like a little kid, a small child, an annoying little kid. That's what he's sounding like. So I think I suggest that maybe you block him or something like that, and not having him come in the program and make him not. You play too much in the mud with pigs, you can smell and look like pigs. So just allow it. Just don't have it. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Patch me even got time for really calling, right? I don't know why black people don't fuck these people them up in this country and let them know that, well, what time it is, you understand me?
Caller, hold the line, please. If you're going to send me a voice note, then sure it doesn't have expletives. Because I'll mark your number and I'll never play another one. Caller, live, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. Yeah, listen, you're doing the right thing, and listeners, and everybody should have a chance to hear what they have to hear, and you're doing the right thing. You want more like him. You expose them. When they come, you expose the ignorance, so the people could get to understand. Others who is on his side will get to understand. When you come here, do not be misled. Come good, or come with what knowledge you have, or what facts you have. You understand me? So don't dispose of him. Allow him to come and expose his ignorance. And this is what other listeners will have to understand. You expose them. How would you get to expose the PPP? By taking them off from the air? So you're doing the right thing, man. You destroy him when he comes, allow him to destroy him. You understand? Because he's taking lead up. He has nothing there so far that he's coming on your program that makes sense. You know? So it is good that they come. Let them come and you destroy them. Now, the other part I would like to say, I want to know what really is going on with the opposition. The opposition is saying something, and is acting in a. The government is not doing the right thing as the government, you know, ignoring all rules and regulations. You understand me? So why the opposition is still playing like things are normal? One, what if that is the case? Why you having why there's no action could be taken like to shut down everything? Don't take part in anything, and then after you set up your wicket to bring out your people. Now look what's going on at GCOM. Why the opposition didn't call up the three commissioners? Tell them not to attend to any issues there. Get out from GCOM. Leave Credit Single and the other three PVP commissioners. Let them take over, because that is what is happening. And they being there, the other three the opposition commissioners are making things legitimate. Illegal things, advantage, barefacedness become legitimate because of their presence. I keep saying this thing. I would like to see when the 11th of this month is finished and that leader been elected. I would like to see how we're going to operate with that space we're going to get. You're going to start to talk back and destroy it. Just because you see the hollering right now, the supporters them. Because he ain't going to get nothing to operate on because they're allowing illegal things to become legitimate with their presence there. The PPP want to walk out. You know, that is the thing that is fumbling me, you know. I don't understand. So that's my take, Kadiki. Thank you for entertaining me.
Thank you, caller. Voice note.
Good morning. I'm totally in agreement with you because most places are keeping the same international shows that Moe used to keep. Now, with this chain link, you gotta go and look for bags or other thing now, or cloth or whatever, to spread around the fence that people can get a clear view into the venue. Now, if I am going to that show and it have a clear view, me could hear the music, me could see what's going on. I'm going to stay out on the outside, buy a few things so I wouldn't pay that money to go in. So what you're saying is true, but some of us don't think. We don't think before we speak. Indeed, if the people we drink it, we sup and we get a little bit $2 or $5 or $50, there's all we thinking about. But there's no money. For Indian people, take bribe and do certain things. They want house land. They want big vehicle or combine or tractor or some big car or something. We black people want 50,000, 100,000. Me little granddaughter is 9 years old. $50,000 and she alone could spend it because she knows all that she needs. $50,000 can't buy a grocery for Christmas. Just your grocery alone. It can't buy it. Where you going to wear? Look your bills. $50,000 can't pay people bills per month. You have internet bill, you have light bill, you have water bill. You have phone bill. You have all those expenses. I don't know where we're going. I'm a single parent. And it just be so tough when they see all these bills come when the month come. You are bringing the kind of money for pay the bills and you still got to eat. You can't eat little ice cream if you want to eat little ice cream. You can't say, well, you know, at the road corner selling a little barbecue. So you got to cut your eyes on it. You can't say you feel peckish and you want something on the side. It is so rough. It is so hard for a country that has oil, a country that producing oil at the moment. We are suffering. And I will tell you this. I can remember a man came from Africa before this oil started war was to tell us about oil and said the most country that has oil, the people are the poorest. And it was coming to pass because before we get development, before we get that we people can live above poverty, we getting poorer, it getting harder, everything raising. I just do roti and puri and a 5-gallon bottle oil. Well, it was 5 something, 6 something, 7 something. Now it's $12,600. Was $12,400. Now it's $12,600. If you get $5,000, you can't go and buy it. Where you gonna get $12,000 alone for just buy the bottle? So where you gonna get the flour and the other ingredients? It is so hard on us as Guyanese.
Call live. Good morning. Thank you for your patience.
Morning, Kadaki. Great program you had, and hats off to the sister in there who is trying to, do with what she has, as well as the previous caller and what he had said in reference to what the election commissioners, at least on the the PNU-PNC side should be doing. Should be walking out. Matter of fact, the statement should be made unless you have house-to-house registration. They should not participate in any sort of election. That should be out there. So again, weak leadership, and it just seems like Afro-Guyanese are simply reactionary. We are not leading the way. We are not demanding anything. All we are saying is that, well, they can't get away with it. The hell, they're getting away with all the shit they've been trying to do. All the stuff they've been doing. They've arrested Mr. Jordan, let him get well, and let him come back on your program. But you've got to understand the pattern that we have laid, and they have actually know what we are doing. Is that we protest one day and then go back in. And those folks are always going to say, well, man, listen, let's ride it out. That's going to go away. So we don't have no sustained attack, no sustained approach. And basically, folks are getting away with murder. As Nigel Hughes has said, Guyana is not a real country. With all the stuff that's going on, the country should have been shut down a long time ago. And I'm not sure what it is or when the hell my brothers and sisters are going to wake the hell up, get up, and do something. They are so scared or terrified of what the Indians are going to do. I mean, at some point, we've got to make some sacrifices. You know, who's got to come together, band together, and say, well, hell, if this person is going to go in and get arrested, well, so be it. But obviously, we are scared to do that. No election should be taking place, and those commissioners need to be told to get off the job. As the previous caller said, they're just simply enabling this crookery that's going to take place. Here's it that you've got an Indian, right, who is, you know, going to be PPP, and then you've got a guy from Jamaica. He's Afro-Jamaican. Now, we don't know his leaning, but we already know where the Indian commissioner who they put up there that don't have the qualifications. But what the Indians are going to do is wine and dine the Jamaican if, in fact, he's able to get him in there. And somebody needs to bring charges of clotted sick. Damn it, man. Please, Guyanese, do something for yourself, man. You just can't let these people just run over you and just taking it to you, and then we're just sitting down taking it day in and day out, man. I'm just sick and tired of this crap. That's my take.
Thank you, caller. Voice note.
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. Yes, it's a very good question. What has both governments done for Buxton and Linden? Pleasance, Essequibo, all of the black areas. What have both governments done? Listen, we need to hold everybody accountable. I listened to the Glenn Lal show last night, and Glenn Lal is saying that our people need to stop sitting down and push these guys out of government. They're not doing the works that they're put there to do. They're not serving the citizens of the country. The country is running like a private affair. We cannot wait 5 years with this. Glenn is saying let's push them out, and I agree with them. With Glenn. Let's push them out. And when we push them out, the ones them who coming in got to do the works for the communities in Guyana. If you ain't doing the job, them are not going to get pushed out. That's my take. Time.
Voice note.
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. I would like to take this opportunity to call on the PNC executive and all the members that need to call off Congress, and all of them who are running for leader come together as one and deal with this runaway train regime that we have called a government, because these people are getting out of place, are getting out of order, and we need to put a spokes in the wheel. Stop these people, because these people eyes is getting to pass intelligent people in this country, and we need to put a spoke in PPP wheel, because imagine we got a dunce as a president, and these people performing and making Guyanese look a shame every single day. And the next thing, I send out, get well to Mr. Jordan. Get well, Mr. Jordan. You just hold it. They wanted to shut you up, but God is ready to shut you up. You got to come out and talk about the wickedness about these people. Thank you.
Call it live. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Kadaki. My take this morning is what these black people talking with the one I see on the parade with a red jersey and Ramson on his chest. You think any one of them would put a Negro man on the chest? None of them. Because look at Sam Hines. You ever see Sam Hines picture on anybody jersey? All you to see is Jack and Jack, Ramatar and all of them. These people is real clowns. And what they Ramson talking about water bowl water and whatever and them nonsense is 92. They bringing this blasted by water we gonna pay for by in bottle. I grew up in the country. I know them time that we used to go to school, we gotta get lamp, flat iron, and iron we clothes. Butter bowl, butter fast one, we could have make we tea in. So then you don't talk stupidness we don't know about. None of them don't even traveling and training Guyana. Them, and they're talking about whatever. I grew up and I know what was going on because I was a child. I born in the 60s. So I know my father was a strong PNC member with Abner Ali father. They used to get together and talk things. When you used to get NIS pension money, I think was $16, $17, something like that at them time. So I don't know what the shit they're talking about. Role model is come from your home. And these men, the man was at present so talking what going to do for them. They go and look for them children we in the mind and live a role model for them. They're just living under these people. What these people tell them to tell the thing, they ain't thinking, oh, they're so stupid. Think back. If they give $2 today, it's that they see $4, $6 worth in you. That's why they give you though. I had one of them used to live wrong about where I live in. She was a busy PPP, and most of the time she healed on the road. Because when she walking, you slip on them, she foot them on the road. So I don't know what they're talking about, role model and this and that. They are talking things what they don't know. Them didn't even burn them time when certain things are happening. But about also now people using but water. Are you getting water? Water, fish coming through the pipe. Fish coming through the pipe. We never used to know, not now, when they were in power. And when they had a meeting, right, they tell them we are talking about clean water. Water when Cockabelly floating through the line. When you pull the water in the bucket and morning, when you pull the bucket, it slime the right away around the bucket. I grow in country drinking well water, no bottle water in there. The schools there where you had is when Dragon come in, water the private school open all over the place. Them same government school born up bed in the park, and that little thing I buy for my son them and my daughter go to school. So I don't know what they're talking about good life. That man do good. And every one of these black people that is role model, they're well educated. No, you ever see Bonham go and fumble? One time Bonham tell Dragon, you is a dentist, I is a liar. You understand? So let us figure it out from there. Them is wicked set of people. Only look what they're doing with the man. All this money they're taking. What are they going to do with it? What are they doing with this one? They're punishing people. People can't get what they want. The little children, them, you can't even wake up morning and give them a proper meal because you don't get, they're knocking off the parents, them and all, and they tell them a better life. These black fools and with these house slaves, they better wake up and smell the coffee because they're stupid. They're stupid. You don't get $5,000 now. You eat them out today. Tomorrow you don't got nothing. Because let me tell you, I was watching them African moods. And I just see most of the people, black people, had land where they're going to give their family. What the houses where these people got. So black people is rich people. We rich. We rich. We rich in spirit and we rich with will. Don't worry with them. We got love and we're very kind. Very kind. When at time I go in the market and a guy sell me a cabbage and I hold it light. I said, he pull it away from me, so I want it free. I said, you just give people free thing when it ain't good. When it's good, then you talk. And I got to tell you what you want is me money. I choosing what I want. Me taking shit. My mother is an Indian. Her name was Gobin. Her title was Gobin. So you could understand who I talking about. So I know it real. I know it good. I know it good. Them only pretending to be good. All them time PNC there by themselves. You ever had this stupidness one the one do? Because black people is genuine people. Don't worry the class is them. Black people is genuine people. You never had no black man coming up against them in the party. You see what happened? There's what they're thinking that just want to get more than everybody. So rather get the hell. And if he the poor gun for Jack Dio because he want to be president, the same real bad. And the next story is that Ramsey, if he qualify for the island gas, Jack Dio would have put it there, but Jack Dio know who he is. He's a scamp, he's a bitch. So that's why he put it right there. And they're running in for recruit people, recruit black people, children. Recruit them for do the nonsense. That's why they're going in. Instead of giving them ball. When the story went in Boxer, Ramatar couldn't go. He couldn't go in Boxon. But now, they put the managed puppy for going curriculum. And they're going to recruit these little black boys for do their own thing. This is what they do because those were the place that was high with the crime. So right there, they're going to get them back again. And we got to stand up with the children and we got to talk to them. Don't let $2 fool the eye. Get them out of the place when they come. Chase them. They're lucky I didn't live in a curriculum still when Ramsey went in there. I will stand up myself until he gets to be I know the place. That is bad. We work hard. Every education that black people get, they work safe. They don't buy it. Because I know times when you go into school and they pass common entrance, they don't want the school where they get. They're going to pay money for get big school. I know that for a fact. I know that. Because I in the system. I know. I born in the 60s. So I know what was going on. Enough of them by the education. That's why now when you put them for function, they tell truth telling now. They can't cope. You see, Ministry of Social Protection, accepted on go in there. With these people, children never go in there. Nonsense. They may know nothing, they can't do nothing for nobody. So, I don't know what they're talking about, but role model and whatever they're talking about. But we gotta get up, That's why I tell some of them, I say, y'all talking, tell people go, but none of y'all going. Nobody wanna go. We gotta go, because the day when they pull you in with the bus, I was there. But all we were, them in a big station of a lack of people. We got to do now when you go for protest, and they come, everybody pull out the mask and start talking, we'll see where they're gonna put all of we. This is my take for this morning.
Thank you, caller. And so it is 9 hours 37, and that should be a wrap. Y'all stay safe. I'll see you tomorrow. Stay tuned. Basically, we're going to be bringing you live coverage from the Square of the Revolution, the Ipology one-day sale. And so go there and support it if you can. And I'm sorry, I can't take another call. I said that's a wrap. Otherwise, I gotta earn people. I got things to go and do. Sorry. Vice, no, this is the final one for the day.
The lady vice mail is the right thing. Look what BK get. Look what BK get. And look what the man in Buxton get. They get chump change. And look what BK get. The lady is exactly right. You understand? Exactly right. BK get transport everything. Hi, boss. Pay attention. You got to open up. I keep telling you, Mr. Gaddafi, you got to open up and talk everything right. The guy called and said the reason the road didn't open up in the Buxton area because the people refused to move. And you gone all around the bush. You didn't listen to you. If the man hear it, if you play this voicemail, the man hear me, the man should get the documentation and prove it. If he can't get the documentation to prove it, well, you avoid it. It's that simple. God bless. Keep up. Keep the work. But don't you getting frustrated. You're getting frustrated. It's politics. $1.4 trillion spent. Wait there. People get land. People get land after the account of what the Attorney General is saying. They get land after the no confidence motion. After. So they didn't stymies. That's where they make the money. They got scales pay for and we ain't get the scales. Like, kind of thing, boss. But instead of talking about Charles Ramsden and Gold Spoon, you got to go and see what's happening now. Because what the coalition do, the PPP will do it. And you got to prove, you got to bring them out, you got to find out what they're doing. Because all politicians, they take bribe. They got proof, you take bribe. You got to get proof that they taking bribe now. God bless.
Yes, that's Jaiwan Bandari. You said I should not have played that last voice note. You know, the fact is the last voice note going just caused me to go past that time right now, honestly. I'm not in the mood to explain what I explained already. But some people expect, and that's a double standard I can't stand from a lot of people. Which fair-minded person is going to believe that it's okay for people to, from Sherry Street to Annandale, to get compensation wherever they have to move their land, shift their properties and so on to accommodate the road expansion? And then when you get to a place like Buxton, people must just shift their properties to accommodate road expansion without compensation. I maintain, and let the PPP and all the others who are seeming to want to defend this, let them provide the evidence that they had catered to compensate Buxtonians on the road front for shifting their properties to facilitate the road expansion. The PPP never catered to expand the road through Buxton. They never did. Never, ever, ever. Those of you who have access to the documents, go get the documents, read it, and see where the road expansion stood. The four-lane idea was going to, four-lane highway was scheduled to stop at Annandale. Annandale. And I'm repeating it. It is prudent management of the resources that resulted in the coalition saving hundreds of thousands or thousands of US dollars from that loan. And instead of giving it back to the lenders or misappropriating it, in other words, thieving it, they decided we are going to use this money and move the road through Buxton and do some development all the way to Belfield. And if money permits us, we will go as far as Rosignol. That was the aim. We want to get to Rosignol. So as much as we had money, we were going to go to Rosignol. When the PPP went into office, they made savings from that road project, 700 and something thousand US dollars. 800,000 US dollars, or 8 million US dollars or something. Yes, 8 million, 7 point something million dollars. And that is the money which they are currently using to fix interconnecting roads. They're just continuing a plan and project of the coalition. Let them prove otherwise. That's all. When I come here, I say my ducks are lined up. You're really and truly. How many persons really and truly come and challenge me on this program, on this platform, from the PPP? They call and they talk a lot of crap. But have they ever really provided the evidence to say, well, this is the situation? They are allowed to participate in the live chat. You ever see they put anything to support the arguments? Every time I tell you something and it's necessary, I put the evidence out there because I usually have my ducks lined up. Right? But they say, a lot of people tell me, don't play these people voice note, don't listen to them, don't take the calls and so on. There's the way to say, even the dull and the ignorant, they too have their stories. And so I like to listen to their stories. Because when I listen to their stories, I understand their thinking. And I get the opportunity to teach. Because if you allow them to go out there, if not on this platform, if you allow them to go out there and misrepresent information, and nobody challenges it, then we are putting ourselves at risk of them convincing others with their misrepresentation. So let them bring their misrepresentation here, and let's address it so people will get to hear both sides. And it is then up to the people to believe what they want to believe. It's as simple as that. Skeletons in my closets, y'all could continue looking for them. Continue looking for them. I remember one of them in the early asked me how many children mother got. You know what was the hint there? Black man like enough women and children. Well, even if you find, I got enough women and children, I don't know that that's a skeleton. I know you won't find it because it doesn't exist. But even if that were to be the case, I don't see that as a skeleton. Good? So y'all gotta look for the skeletons. The PPP got so many skeletons. They got thieves. They got rapists. They got murderers. They got... Listen. Y'all have a good day. Talk to y'all later. The PPP and BK, PPP is behaving like a woman scorned. BK turned his back on them in the last elections. And because he turned his back on them, they are out to get him. Right? And they have a scourge yard policy. They'll destroy all who in the path to get into BK. Right? The friend of my enemy is my enemy. That is what the PPP behaves with. Who cares? Have a good day, y'all. Stay safe. Go down to Square the Revolution and support you. Bye-bye.